Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Saturday. How's everyone doing today? Guys, sound off in the chat. Hey, what's going on, guys? Bitcoin currently trading at, let's see, what is Bitcoin currently trading at? $90,561.99. Let's go refresh our liquidation heat map and see where we're at. Kind of out of breath. I was just outside. We got snow. It looks really cool. I had to make a cool video. We've got 91,452. 91,452. Yeah, yesterday was weird with that liquidation heat map. Looked funky. 91,452. There was almost like no liquidation points. 92,631. And then the downside, we've got 89,902. What's going on, Saeed? What's going on, Gourmet Brands? Happy Saturday, guys. We got the daily close contest coming up in less than 20 minutes, less than 15. 89, nope, I'm going to go down here. 88,723. Very cool. What's going on, Tishu? Happy Saturday. Smash the like button, guys. All right. So this is our little weekend range that the market maker has so graciously provided to us. Take a gander at the volume falling off a cliff for the weekend here, and you can see it in the candles as well. Crypto Spaces said white whale on Solana hit 200 million. A guy turned $400 into 1.5 mil. He bought at 30K market cap. Wow, that's awesome. Dominance 59.13. Struggling to get above 59.2. Hopefully it stays that way. We'll see if this ends up being some kind of a 3 hits to the upside failure, or maybe 3 hits to the downside continuation. You never know. We've got RSI right below 50. It is dancing around that moving average. Still struggling to get above it definitively. Red dot on the momentum wave. Money flow's been positive consistently. So it's very much right now indicative of just a continuation. Is that continuation going to be up, down, or just simply straight to the right? Nobody knows. What alarms me right out the gate is I do kind of see, I guess I see two scenarios. It can either be this, where it pulls back, goes sideways, and then pops, or this, where it pulls back, goes sideways, and then drops. We prefer the pop because we do have a mild bullish bias here in JJ's Cryptic Corner. Crypto Spaces said I follow him on X. Solana really has all the volume. Centralized exchange coins not going up, LOL. Yeah, that's fair. I think it shows in the metrics via TVL and everything as well. All right. Yeah, Bitcoin looks good. 95.27. Volume needs improvement for sure, but it's the weekend, so what are you gonna do? Usually volume and liquidation heat map stays looking like this until Sunday afternoon, so we can look forward to that possibility. We've got ETH currently trading at 3,085.59 cents. Holding above 3K, which is what we want to see. I don't want this to lose 3K. And we do have quite a ways to get to 3K, so that's good. If we do drop, I suspect that would be where we dropped to. Our RSI dancing around that moving average. We got a bullish cross for a hot second, and we're failing to hold that retest as we speak. So we'll see what comes of that. We got a red dot on the momentum wave, pointed to the downside. Money flow's been positive consistently over a good period of time here. I guess my biggest concern with ETH is the possibility of us unfortunately coming down to touch 29-ish, this lower trend line. I don't want that. But if it does happen, then that should be some semblance of a decent sized support. Volume also missing in action on ETH. Solana down 0.08% on the day. Currently trading at 135.86. RSI struggling to get above that moving average as well. We had an attempt on Thursday, and then we lost that on Friday. And now we're continuing to the downside. Kind of got a head and shoulders here on the RSI, which is interesting. Is that reflected in the price? Actually, it is. Low volume shoulder, high volume head, low volume shoulder. Is that going to result in downside to our neckline, or is it going to invalidate to the upside with conviction and get us above the upper trend line for this broader trend. Crypto Spaces said, like the stream, guys, I come here to cope. This is JJ's Copium Corner. Welcome. Derek said, hello, JJ. What's going on, Derek? So Solana looks decent. We either are going to continue chopping sideways or we're going to go up or down. What I like about it, though, Copium or not, this is like volume Copium at this point. We're not even trying to look for the price going up or down. We're just trying to look for the price to go somewhere, not sideways. What I like is that we got a potential flag here, which will either push it up high or down low. So we'll see what comes of it. As of right now, we're just chilling. Kind of looking like a double top. Can we get a double top into a double bottom? And will that double bottom maybe actually happen on our neckline, our purple neckline right here? I could see that. I kind of don't mind that. We'll keep an eye on it, though. Tishu said, it seems I was right about STX so far. Are we still early to buy low? I mean, if you think so. STX. STX 38.44. Yeah, I mean, you got above 25. You held 25, actually. Look at that. That's beautiful. Distribution, little triple bottom. Blast off. You got above this interim resistance line at 32.53. And then you found resistance. Looks like just below 40. People front ran 40. It looks like you got resistance support at your 32.53, which let you break above that 38.5 40 resistance. Well, not really, actually. 40 is still there. Interesting. So yeah, getting above 40 is going to be psychological. And then you're probably going to have to play with probably 42, between 42 and 46, based on this price action right here, that little sideways channel. So we'll see what comes of that. Here's a good example of a inverse head and shoulder invalidating. You know how I always talk about the invalidations being violent? This inverse head and shoulder was a violent invalidation to the downside, and the same goes for a regular head and shoulder. The invalidation for regular head and shoulder is also usually violent. That's what I'm talking about when I mention that. Total 3. Total 3 currently trading at 876.21. Looking good. We got a rejection at 910-ish. Nice wick going up to 920. Oops. Indicative of selling pressure. And we pushed down below 883, and we kind of found a floor. Looks like 870 is our floor right now. Can we use that and get enough momentum and strength to bust above 883 again and continue to the upside? RSI dancing around that moving average, trying to get above it. Failing, though, repeatedly. We do have a green dot on our momentum wave pointing to the upside and an unconfirmed green dot on market cipher. Money flow has been positive. All signs point to maybe. Unfortunately, it's a very maybe Saturday for sure. I am liking what I'm seeing in the broader macro right now, though. There's a lot happening for midterms, and that is why I've been kind of not panicking at all, because I think that they're going to try to buy our vote, and in doing so, they're going to inject a lot of liquidity into the market. Hence, 10% cap on credit cards and all that stuff. Cardano currently trading down 0.87% on the day, 38.80 on the price. Can we hold 38 as support? It was previous resistance. We had 1, 2, 3 main hits to the downside. Kind of a, is that a bear flag, a descending? It's like a descending channel, whatever you want to call it. Descending broadening wedge. Got a nice bullish break. We broke above 83 or 38, retested, confirmed, continued the upside. We're coming down for another retest of 38. RSI kind of can't be bothered. We're struggling, but we are consolidating. I do like this consolidation, because when this does pop, it's gonna be violent, and the violent pops are the ones that are fun to trade. Tishu said, so on a head and shoulder invalidation, it's better to cut it, take a loss, and look for next trade. That's up to you, I suppose. If you're trading, then I suppose at that point, if I was trading and I was trading a head and shoulder, hoping for it to go down, and it ended up invalidating and going up in a violent manner, my stop loss would trigger. So, because usually, like I described, the invalidation is a violent move. Now, that's not to say that it's going to stay down there or up there, you know, invalidating inverse or otherwise. But you should have a stop loss, especially if you're trying to trade a pattern like that, because they invalidate so violently, so frequently. Snack is up 4.41% on the day, which I'm excited about. We held 0.001. We're currently sitting at 0.0010421. Can we get back above this trend line, which is something of, I guess, does it count as legacy? It's November, December, January. Yeah, it's been 2 months, so we'll start calling it a legacy trend line, I suppose. Can we get back above that? Obviously, only time will tell. We got 2 confirmed red dots, which have since played out, it seems. We're currently got 2 green dots and a red dot in between. That doesn't mean much. The green dot's pointing to the upside, though, and we're about to cross bullish on Market Cipher with negative money flow on MXC, so we'll see what happens. And if it's spot, that's up to you as well. Personally, I'm a DCA guy when it comes to spot. I've never... Oh, has my camera been off this whole time? Didn't I turn my camera on? Am I crazy? I've never seen a spot bag get to a point where I'm like, I'm going to sell all of this. Because if I built the spot bag, then I have conviction in it. At least not during, you know, this current market. During like 2021, I did that all the time. And then I missed out on stuff like Avalanche. I had a very immature distaste for Avalanche because I sold too early. I held it for forever. It was like 20, 25 bucks. And I was like, this coin sucks. I'm selling it all. I'm getting rid of my whole bag. And then, no joke, like a month, 2 months later, the whole thing exploded. Went to over $100. And I was so mad. And you know what? I couldn't even tell you. I probably bought it here. I bought it here. Watch this happen. And then I went, watch this. And I was like, haha, idiots. And then it went, boom. And maybe that's what's happening right now with everything. Like, what if we experienced this right here. And then this little dipperoonie is this guy, which eventually goes boom. And all the, like, 2021 JJs are going, haha, idiots right now. Because they sold up here, still at a loss. But they got to keep a little bit of their capital. And we're about to go explode to the upside. Everyone's going to get left behind. Especially those who sold too early. Not financial advice. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying it's a possibility. That's what happened with me. I've watched it happen to myself. So, entertainment is the best possible outcome. Always. Even if it sucks for the victim. Midnight. Are we on the 4 hour? Oh yeah, there's not a lot of price action for this. Midnight up 4.55% on the day, currently trading at 0.069773. Very nice. We broke below 75.123. We got, let's see, we broke it down out of our triangle. Retested, confirmed bearish, bounce off of 75, break below 75, attempt to get back above it, failed. Bounce off of 63.64, and now we're kind of right smack dab in the middle in between 64 and 75. We'll see where that takes us. Volume could be a little bit better. Slightly improved right here with a couple green. We got a green dot on the momentum wave, point to the upside. We were incredibly oversold over there as well. RSI and momentum wave. So we'll see what comes of that. Money flow still negative. Something to keep an eye on for sure. XRP currently down 0.2% on the day. Struggling to get back above it. Or actually, it's holding $2, which is awesome. That's exactly what we like to see. It is struggling to get back above 210 though. RSI very flat-lined below that moving average. Red dot of the momentum wave, point to the downside. We've had positive money flow since the beginning of the year, so it's not too bad, honestly. Not too bad. We're going to skip some. You guys got any special requests? Let me know. We got 2 minutes remaining until the daily close contest kicks off. Chance for you to win up to $300. All you got to do is participate via the chat and be subscribed and like the stream. Sweet, down 0.9% on the day, currently trading at 179.54. It's been at this price for a couple of days now, since Thursday. So we got Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 3 days of flatline price action. What's it going to be? I don't know if this was maybe in anticipation of our Friday Supreme Court ruling that got pushed back until Wednesday. Are we going to be like this until Wednesday? Probably. RSI doing the same thing as everything else. Red dot and momentum wave. Positive money flow since January 1st. So not much more to really talk about. We're right in between 169 and 185. We got less than 1 minute remaining until the daily close contest, so make sure you guys get your guesses ready for that. $90,543.81. 36 seconds remaining on the clock. This is the first daily close contest I am hosting from my beautiful stand-up desk, which I can raise and lower. Oh, that's the highest that it goes? Really? I might max this bad boy out. Tisha said pole and Chili's good pump last 24 hour. What does that tell you on the market? That's actually a great question. Market lays dino coins. You know what it probably tells you? 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, get your guesses in for the daily close contest. It probably tells you, here's my grand conspiracy, my guess for what that tells us. I think everyone that left the market was the people who experienced 2021 bull. So when they return, when they're like, I should get back into that crypto thing, just in case. Like I've realized that I was overexposed and under-diversified, and I was throwing money at everything, and that's why I didn't make any money, and it's not crypto's fault, it's my fault for being an idiot. So they're like, I'm going to approach this with a level head now, as I say with my tinfoil hat. And they show back up, they're like, what coins did I really, really have high conviction in 2021? And they go and buy those, which were Polygon, Matic, Pole, whatever it's called today, and Chili's. I bet you that is at least 1% of the people who return to the market. That's my conspiracy for the evening. Giovanni coming in with a guess of a 90K. Thank you, Giovanni. Oh my gosh, I'm whacking the table and stuff. God, that really hurt my hand. Okay. Mr. Giovanni Fontes, if you guys are not aware, Giovanni Fontes actually works for, is it Aqua de Jo or is it Dior? He works for one of the, like, male perfume companies, and he's actually the model in the commercials, where he's like buff and he's like Dior, and then he like cliff dives into some water where there's like some sexy chick there waiting for him to like rub herself on his body. 90,000. Mr. Giovanni Fontes. Anybody else, guys? Bitcoin currently trading at $90,567.14. Currently, we got 3 individuals ranking in our #1 spot with 1 win for the year. Mr. Tufik is our latest entry, or Mrs. Actually, gender has not been determined. Saeed Quadri and Giovanni Fontes. Welcome. Rules are, as you see here on the screen. Closest without going over wins bragging rights. If you match the first 5 or 6 over 100K digits, you win $20. If you match all 7 or 8 over 100K digits, you win the grand prize of $300, but you have to match every single digit. We've had several individuals miss it by 1 penny or 10 pennies or, whatever, several times. So if that happens and you don't match the first 5, you win nothing, which has happened. We've had people over by 1 penny several times, which Price is Right rules. If you're over at all, your guess is completely void. So it's been entertaining, no matter what the outcome is. I think the most entertaining outcome, though, would be for somebody to win, because I feel like that would be incredibly lucrative promotion, for sure. Tufik coming in. Mr. Tufik. Okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you for the clarification. Tufik coming in with a 90,410. Very cool. Definitely feeling the groove, enjoying the difference with this lovely stand-up desk here, guys. How are you guys doing? How is everyone's weekend? How's everyone's Saturday? You guys got anything going on? Anything at all? I've been having fun, not gonna lie. I got some car repairs that I gotta do tomorrow, but they're not gonna be any crazy hands-on jargon that I've done in the past, so I got to do an oil change, and then I'm doing a brake caliper, brake rotor, which is the big problem that I've been dealing with for like a couple months. I thought it was what did I think it was? Wheel hub. Like I thought the bearings were bad. Bearings were fine. The rotor is warped, which is the goofiest little baby problem. So I wasted $50 on a wheel hub for nothing. Gourmet Brands Brooklyn coming in with 35 seconds remaining. Guys, if you don't see your guests on here, that means that I did not get it. YouTube censored it for some reason, so you got to try to put maybe letters in between your numbers. Gourmet Brands of Brooklyn coming in with $90,499 and 1 penny. Current Bitcoin price $90,567 and 15 cents. Ladies and gentlemen, 15 seconds remaining on the clock. I have watched so far, since the start of the weekend, the new John Wick ballerina movie with Ana de Armas, who is one of my favorite celebrities at the moment. Time's up. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get these bad boys on the board. And then I watched John Wick 1 and 2, which are brilliant movies. I don't think anything quite matches the brutality of the first one, but they're all so good. 90,499.01. Keanu Reeves is an absolute mastermind. Gourmet Brands of Brooklyn. And then we've got Toothpick with 94.10 even. And then we've got 90,000 even with Giovanni Fontes. Mr. Saeed, you are late, my friend. Unfortunately, you're going to have to wait until tomorrow to participate. You guys got a 5-minute window. I accidentally made the font big on this and I did not change it. That is my bad. It's also supposed to be blue, isn't it? Is it that blue or is it a lighter blue? Uh-oh. I don't remember what blue. Gotta be that one, right? Oh no. I'm just gonna put it at that one. Yeah. Alright. $90,493.84. Toothpick in the lead, stealing it from Mr. Gourmet Brands of Brooklyn, who I believe was incredibly strategic. I would have guessed, I think, the exact same thing that he guessed. But the market does not care. The market giveth, the market taketh away. Let's make these fonts a little bit smaller as well. How do I do that, you say? I actually don't know. Right here? No? Why am I struggling? I'm crazy. I guess I am crazy. Aha! Okay. I think it's supposed to be 12. Let's do 14. 14 is good. $90,493. Oh, $90,504.69. Gourmet Brands of Brooklyn back in the lead. 46 seconds. Oh, no, 2 minutes and 43 seconds remaining on the clock. Very cool. Okay, we're going down to 14. And we're going down to 14. Sweet. Gourmet Brands of Brooklyn back in the lead with his guess of $90,499 and 1 penny. Bitcoin $90,504.69. Let's see. We still have 2 minutes and 14 seconds remaining on the clock. Is time slowing down? Am I going crazy? Look at that big fat red candle. Crazy. Gourmet Brands of Brooklyn literally sold his entire bag to manipulate that candle. $90,504.69. Gourmet Brands guess $90,499 and 1 penny. Next in line to claim the throne is Toothpick with a guess of $90,410, who did have the lead for a brief moment until that candle close. We got 1 minute and 42 seconds remaining on the clock for the Bitcoin daily close. What's it going to be? Are we going to see our first $300 winner today? $90,504.70. What's interesting is this linger, the slow grind up, and then the dog ear kind of Batman pattern. We got a big shelf right here. A lot of flatlining going on. It's interesting to watch as well when that happens. Just thinking of several minutes going by without the price moving kind of trips me out. We've got 66 seconds remaining on the clock for the daily close contest. Bitcoin, $90,504.70. This is the candle that will determine the fate of our winner, ladies and gentlemen. 56 seconds remaining. Gourmet Brands of Brooklyn still in the lead, but not far. There's a very small gap for Tufik to potentially get an advantage if the price dumps. 42 seconds. Gourmet Brands still holding his lead with the largest gap on the board at the moment, because the price could technically go up to infinity. $90,504.69 though is the current price. 30 seconds left. Gourmet Brands only off by a couple dollars. Only off by a couple dollars. I will say it is closest without going over. So if the price closes at $90,499 and like 2 pennies, then Gourmet Brands of Brooklyn wins a $20 prize. 8 seconds remaining. $90,504.69. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. We got a flatline daily close. The winner of today's daily close contest, Mr. Gourmet Brands of Brooklyn, with a guess of $90,499 and 1 penny, and an actual Bitcoin daily close of $90,504.70. $90,504.70. $90,504.70. Ladies and gentlemen, spam the bananas in the chat for our winner. Congratulations, Gourmet Brands of Brooklyn, on your victory. Very cool. Gourmet Brands of Brooklyn coming in with a guess of $94.99.01. That is Gourmet Brands' first win for the year, making a name for himself, establishing his reign over the board. Ladies and gentlemen, spam the bananas in the chat for our winner. Very cool. That is the first daily close contest from JJ's Cryptic Corner, revamped, revised, renewed, reborn. JJ's Cryptic Corner standing up instead of sitting down. Ladies and gentlemen, yay! Very cool. Mr. Gourmet Brands Brooklyn, let me add you to the winner's Google Doc. Today is January 10th. Very cool. All right, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to smash the like. Subscribe if you are new. We are trying to reach a goal of 2,000 subscribers before April. I think we can do it. Appreciate you guys for being here. Gotta get a drum roll, please. I don't know if I'm going to do the drum roll on the desk. I'm going to do it under the desk. Ready? The winner of today's daily close contest with a guess of $90,499 and 1 penny, and an actual Bitcoin daily close of $90,504.70 on January 10th, 2026. Mr. Gourmet Brands of Brooklyn's prize is a Choco Taco. Congratulations, Gourmet Brands of Brooklyn, on your victory. Feel free to individually remove the nuts from your Choco Taco, and you can nibble on them a little bit. You can throw them at people walking by. You can feed them to some mice, feed them to your friends and family, your fellow competitors, and then enjoy your Choco Taco as you please. Whatever you do, you are legally obligated to remove it from the premises. Congratulations once again on your victory. Enjoy. All right. We need banana spam as well. Ladies and gentlemen, spam the bananas in the chat. If you do not, then I can't help you. I cannot help the fate that awaits you if you refuse to spam bananas. You've made your bed. All right, very cool. Congratulations, Gourmet Brands of Brooklyn. Let's continue going through our charts. We went through SWI, Ondo. Ooh, Ondo right at that support line around 39 or 40. Hopefully it holds. We'll see what happens. RSI still pretty, high considering it's trying to sell off. Volume increase though, for sure going into this. I keep clicking on the wrong thing. So that's nice to see. Let's see if the sustained volume will result in further price action to the upside. Arrow. Ooh, we got banana spam. Oh my gosh, Tishu is actually spamming bananas. It's too much. It's too much banana spam. But YouTube just shuts the whole thing down. They're like, somebody figured out our secret. We're getting DDoSed via bananas. Sir, it's JJ's Cryptic Corner. I'm afraid he's at it again. Son of a bitch. I knew this day would come. Very cool. Congratulations, Bollinger Bands, Brooklyn. Aerodrome, currently trading at 53.73. Having trouble getting above 55. I like that we're holding above 50, though. That's all that really matters. We got a harsh rejection around 60 with some wicks above. This was kind of obvious, unfortunately. If I was trading this, I would have front ran it at every single one like an idiot. And I'd probably only be in profit from a short position. Instead of 12%, I'd probably be 6% because I would average into it. But that's the beauty of averaging. You decrease your risk and your reward. Volume kind of fell off a cliff for Arrow, but it does seem to pop off when volume does return. So we'll see what happens. Is this a flag or just a simple falling wedge kind of scenario? Probably falling wedge, and that's even kind of pushing it. I missed the banana pump song. That is a good pump song. Maybe I can contact the creator and see if I can get licensed. Because you know what irritates me? I'm gonna go on a little YouTube creator rant right now. Every single video that I post, whenever I have music playing, I own the license to those songs, so I'm legally allowed to use those in my content. I still, every single video, the same song, get flagged for copyright, and I have to go through the process, and I have to tell them, "Oop, here's my license." Every time. It's the most inefficient system in the world. And it's gotten to the point now where, and I'm revealing my plan, so YouTube, if you're watching, fix this, please. Not that you would ever watch or give a crap, but in my brain, I'm like, I wonder if there's like a class action lawsuit that could come of this. Because I've spent hours, administrative hours, like submitting the paperwork, the same paperwork for these stupid copyright claims for this music that I own the license to. So either YouTube should get in trouble or the music owner. Because there should be some way for them to whitelist me. They're like, okay, we know that this guy owns this song, so don't flag him for this song anymore. It can't be that hard. It's crazy to me. But anyways, I digress. I think we're going to skip. I'm going to look at Fartcoin just because it makes me laugh. We lost 40. We bounced off of 36. Seemingly rejected our midpoint around 38. And we're sitting right above 36 again. Are we going to lose it and head towards 32? That is the question. RSI is struggling to get above that moving average. And we got a red dot of the momentum wave pointing to the downside. Farting to the downside, if you will. Avalanche currently trading down 0.15% since the daily close. Price $13.72. We are holding above our upper trend line, which is awesome. We had a descending channel. We broke. Actually, we did our little fake out to the downside, which I talk about all the time. I like the first move, false move. It makes sense to me. We had our fake out to the downside, our climb, resistance, and our legacy trend line. And then I'm going to call this a midpoint bounce, midpoint being the middle, basically in between the legacy trend line and the lower trend line. And continuation to the upside, that strength allowed us to break through the legacy trend line, where we found resistance at our upper trend line, support at our legacy trend line, strength to break through, find support at the upper trend line, continuation, and continued support. Are we going to continue this support and break the upside again? That would be ideal. I would like to get above $14 first before we get too excited. We might, I don't want to speak out loud and put these things into existence, but we might chop to our legacy trend line and then trade up. If not, though, I guess if you held a gun to my head and said, tell me why this is bullish, I would tell you that it's a flag or something. I would try to sell you on a flag, but it's wishy-washy. RSI dancing around that moving average, red dot of the momentum wave, positive money flow. Not bad, actually. I like the momentum wave cloud on the lower half because that gives us plenty of room to go to the upside. And our RSI is kind of sitting right at 40, which is like we're going to call it our 25th percentile. Tishu said they can't do that, but they sure add AI features for sure. Yeah, it's ridiculous, dude. It's crazy. I've gotten to the point now where sometimes I'll put little sentences at the beginning, like a little Karen sentence, because I have this thing where I just copy paste it now. But every once in a while, if I'm like in a bad mood, and then they're like, "Your video's not eligible for ads or whatever," and then I gotta go fill it out at the very beginning. Like I'll paste my paragraph, and then I'll go to the beginning. I'll be like, This is ridiculous. This is the 517th time I've had to submit. Like, nobody actually reads it, but it makes me feel better. Gourmet Brands wants to take a look at FET. Yes, we absolutely can, my friend. Fetch AI on Binance. Is this the right chart? Have I looked at this before? Oh, yes, it is. Wow. That was the last time I looked at it. Whew. So we had support. Broke. Couldn't even really call that resistance afterwards. I would like to make the argument that this is a bottom pattern. G Immortal said, your opinion on CZ's recent post about Supercycle. G Immortal, if you wait until the news segment, we will go over that. I actually have that. I'm very excited about it because I'm not going to lie. CZ, regardless of your feelings about him, when he says things on the internet, they tend to come true. So, I'm just saying. And people are, they have like a reasonable argument that it's in his best interest to say those things to get people to sign up to Binance, even though he's not like the head of Binance anymore, allegedly. But if you look at the metrics, he kind of has no incentive because Binance's numbers have been amazing. There's nothing like declining for him to go, oh no, I better go tell people on Twitter that there's a super cycle coming so they go sign up to Binance. None of that's happening. And even so, I would argue majority of the people that would sign up to Binance that aren't yet wouldn't even know who he was or if he's affiliated Binance, and he's not putting a referral link in his post, you know what I mean? But we'll go over it. I'm excited about those. He's got a couple of them actually, like in the past day or two that I'm like, ooh. So what's interesting about Fetch is look at this big fat spike in volume. It looks very similar to this. And does the move look similar? It looks similar on like a smaller scale. The spike and then the dip. So normally I would try to make an argument for like this heading into that, which I suppose is possible. There definitely seems to be a recurring pattern here. Let me see something. I just want to see, can I pull a fractal and then stretch it to fit that narrative? Oh, I bet you I can. Ready? Let's do, I guess, that. Now, how stretched can I make it? And it's iffy, this is just me kind of experimenting for fun, so excuse me, I'm not at the TA part yet. This is not all I'm going to give you. Just digging around for a minute. But it's sloppy. There's definitely a lot more volume and momentum here than the fractal had. But I like the idea of this flatline phase. And maybe it doesn't last as long as this one did. But if it does, then you're looking at about June, July of this year for a little spike up. And then maybe even 2027 for an explosive move to the upside. Now, none of that like, it could get to a point where none of this plays out at all. You could do something like that. That actually kind of makes more sense. April for the beginning, a little pullback in July. August, September, like, blow off top. That's entirely possible as well. Now, TA, because that's just me throwing a fractal somewhere, the volume looks good. You want to see the volume continue to increase. You were overbought right here. That pulled back, looking good. Now, what's nice about that situation is you had a nice pop to the upside. You became overbought within that move. Actually, it's right there. You became overbought within that move. And then you had a pullback, and that pullback came with a little bounce, and it like reverted to the mean. And within that, your RSI pulled back, and then it flatlined. So this like subsequent pump and plateau gave you a nice little RSI reset, essentially. So if you wanted more room to the upside, you have it, but it's not necessarily going to dump straight down either. And it still could. The RSI it's not black and white indicator, but it looks good right now for a nice price reset or RSI reset and possible continuation to the upside. Your money flow is positive. Your momentum wave looks very much like it's consolidating, as well as the RSI. So upside possibility is definitely there. You're right at the middle. I would call this the mean from all of this price action. It seems to like want to stick around that 28 area. Obviously 30 is going to be resistance. That's psychological. And you got resistance from back here, right here. Once you get past that, it's really like blue sky until you get it to about 60 with like a little interim, I guess I would call 45 a resistance level. Yeah. You got support, support, resistance. So obviously every 10 cents is going to be psychological as well. You got your 28, your 30, your 40, 45, 50, and 60. Get above 30 and then we can start talking about continuation to the upside. If you do end up breaking down, I would want to see 23-ish hold. And that's strictly based on all of this previous support coming into play. Chainlink. Chainlink up 0.15% on the day. Why did CZ do jail time? Okay, so CZ got in trouble for anti-money laundering laws. Basically, because for a short period of time, they did not enforce KYC in the United States for Binance, people could have possibly laundered money through the platform. And the United States doesn't like that. They also probably saw that this guy made a ridiculously large amount of money and they didn't get any of it, or it's possible that they didn't get some of it. So they got mad and they put him in jail because, unfortunately, as much as you might like or dislike the US government, they're incredibly insecure, which is one of the lamest things I've ever seen on the planet. Anyways, Chainlink. We broke below 1339 after finding some pretty harsh resistance at around 14. All right, 1339 resistance turned support, turned into resistance again. Are we going to come back down to 1268? That's possible, actually. So this support, or this resistance that we could not get above for the longest time, we finally broke above it. We never retested it. So I could see that retest, and it might not be like that. It might be like a little shallow kind of bull situation, which sucks because nobody wants to wait until like January 20th for another move up. But sometimes that's how the market moves. We'll see what happens though. RSI dancing around that moving average. We are sitting above it though. It's possible that we push up, which would be awesome. Volume kind of fell off a cliff. It's Saturday though. That's what we expect. We have an unconfirmed green dot on market cipher, a red dot on the momentum wave pointing to the downside. And money flow has been positive since Christmas Eve. So Santa Claus possibly coming to town. What I like about Chainlink is it's got that textbook pattern that we've pointed out a million times on Total 2, and Total 3, where we got our descending channel and then our like choppy sideways breakout. And then eventually that turns into a upside, like trend pop, whatever you want to call it. But I like it seems like momentum is very much bubbling to the surface right now, and I'm excited to see where it takes us. Are we? So I see over here we got a W, we got a top, we got a little bowl, another top, pullback, explosion. Okay, ready? Keep up. W, a top, a bowl, another top, pullback, explosion. The top wasn't as good as it could have been. W, a top, a bowl, another top, pullback, explosion. W, top, bowl, another top, pullback, explosion. Is that what's happening on a smaller scale? I don't know. That'd be pretty cool. If it happens on a smaller scale, does that mean that our target is smaller? Or is it just more condensed, more consolidated, more pressure buildup going to result in a higher price? Because it's at about the same price level. It's not like we're dealing with a higher high or anything like that. Like this is straight up. I guess if you go to a higher time frame, it could be a big W. Yeah, no, we saw the same thing back here. Your downtrend, your choppy sideways breakout, and then your explosion. Downtrend, choppy sideways breakout, explosion. Downtrend, choppy sideways breakout, explosion. That's what we're looking at with Bitcoin as well. So it's easy to remember. Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see where this ends up. Monad is down 0.54% on the day, currently trading at 24.12. Can we... I mean, I would love to have held above this. I want to see, I guess, if we hold above 0.024. Our RSI is not quite oversold yet, but I like the downtrend. It's pretty uniform. Struggling to get back above that moving average. The second we flip, it could pop to the upside, which would be interesting to watch. This is the first seemingly like real structural breakdown I've seen since its launch, it seems. Everything else, you had your pump, your dump, and then just like further weakness, sell off. Now you're having like momentum built up. I would even maybe potentially, we could call this a dump, chop, like sideways breakout leading into the pump, maybe. I don't know. It's interesting to see the price start to do that and the RSI start to do that. It's going to be cool to watch. Pengu is down 0.13% on the day, trading at 0.01872. I see a beautiful bottoming pattern. 3 hits the downside, pop off to the upside. And right now we're kind of lingering, I would call it, on a table, I suppose. Is this... Yeah, look at that. So you got resistance, resistance, support, resistance, resistance, resistance. This is a nice, even back here, support, support. This is a nice, this 11,650, a nice little support zone. If we stay above that, I'll be happy. If we break below it, it might get a little bit dicey. We might end up going down to around 10. Yeah, maybe even 10 way back down there. 10 or 10.5, I don't know. Tisha said STX starting to pump. Go check it out. Dang, you know what I want really bad? I really want a breakfast sandwich. That sounds so good. Yeah, STX looks good. Like I said, you had this resistance at around 38. Your pullback, textbook, support around 32. And you broke back above 36, which is awesome. Currently sitting at 39.74. Can you get above 40? Your RSI is sitting above your moving average. So you had your weakness, your descent, support, continuation, break, and now you're looking for further upside. You do have a red dot in your momentum wave, but you are not overbought on the RSI. Your momentum wave slightly overbought, but you know that can stay that way for quite a while. I suppose next move I would like to say if we get above 40 and we hold it, I'm going to see it get above 43.12 next. Okay, silver up 3.81% since yesterday. Market's closed at the moment. 79.90, looking good. Are we going to continue to the upside come Monday? Or I think Sunday evening. We got a bullish cross over the moving average and the RSI. Green dot of the momentum wave pointed the upside. Again, I don't know if the RSI or the momentum wave or market cipher, whatever you want to call it, if those even apply to silver, but that's the TA that I do. I'm going to point it out when I see it. What's interesting is like this kind of looked like a little sideways double top kind of situation. This also looks, can I redo? Oh boy. Oh, I can. Okay, good. Kind of looks very similar right here. A little sideways double top. So are we going to get that next? Is it just going to chop like kind of slightly sideways to the upside for the indefinite future? Like I said, we got that potential for bearish div coming up. Obviously, it's going to depend on if this gets higher and rejects. As long as that RSI cooperates, then it'll probably set up more bearish div in the future. Jay Shear said, "Sup, family? What's going on, Jay Shear? Guys, don't forget to smash the like button. I appreciate you guys for being here. Do I say that a lot? Let's do a poll in the chat. What is the poll going to be, you ask? What are you, or what would you rather buy right now? We got Bitcoin. We got S&P. We got gold / silver. And we've got, what is the other investment? I guess I can just do those three, right? I can do nothing. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the poll in the chat. What would you rather buy right now? We got Bitcoin, S&P 500, gold, or silver, or nothing at all. You're waiting. Tisha said poll is even better. Only green daily candles in the last 10 days. That's crazy. So yeah, silver looks good. I mean, we got a textbook breakout, retest, confirmation, continuation of this upper trend line. We'll see where it ends up. And then gold. Gold's currently 45.09 and also chilling. We did talk about this back here, the double bottom break continuation after finding support at 43.81. We kind of did that, but we got a weird like liquidation wick right there, and then it got back about 43.81 and continued to the upside. I suppose what I'm looking for next is another high, a higher high, if you will. I don't want it to do what it did back here, where we got a little double top and then pull back, which I guess if it did, it wouldn't be the end of the world. But that looks, I suppose, maybe like that, which would put us long-term around March, April, maybe at 4,800. That'd be kind of crazy. Do we think gold's going to continue to the upside? Tisha said should have bought that 10-cent pole. Let's go take a look at pole. But yeah, gold looks good. It's not overbought on the 4-hour yet. Support target didn't quite hit 42.50, but that's why, you know, we pay attention if we're trading, and we front run even our own targets. That's why I front ran Harambe, and why I will do so again this year. Pole USDT. Is this the right one? I think it is. Look at that volume spike. Whew, beautiful, beautiful volume spike. I think a lot of people underestimated pole. The price got down really, really far. It got really bad, really bleak. And yeah, look at that. That support at 1833 should have held. It did not. It literally dumped. Wow. What is that? 46, 47% from that level. And it's incredibly overbought at the moment, which is not the end of the world. It actually looks pretty good. I would compare it to right here, coming out of this ravine. So, is it going to get above 1833? It looks like it's kind of struggling, because we got support, break, resistance. This is going to be another resistance. The volume looks insane. Beautiful spike in volume. RSI is incredibly overbought, but in the bull market, that won't matter. Potentially bouncing off that moving average. Red dot on the momentum wave, also incredibly overbought. Point to the downside. Money flow has been positive since Friday. So let's see. Let's go to the higher time frame. Get a little zoom out. Wow. A lot of green candles, looking good. Ever since they changed their name, they have devalued tremendously from the Pico top right here. We're not allowed to look at a historic price action either, because they've changed their ticker 85 times. It's only down 75%, 76% since December of 2024. I guess that's not too bad. 2 years, you know, a year and a month. 1 year and 1 month, 13 months. Have you guys ever seen Grown Ups? Those are such good movies. I think it's in, is it the second one? I think it is the second one. No, it's in the first one. It is in the first one. I remember now. It's in the first one. And Kevin James' son is like still breastfeeding. He's like 4 years old. And I think Chris Rock is like, or maybe it's the wife. They're like, your son is still breastfeeding? And he's like, yeah. And they're like, how old is he? And he's like, 48 months. Or so, and then they're like, that's 4. Or like, he's 7 or something. He just names like a ridiculously large quantity of months. And they're like, what? But he said it in months to make it seem like the kid wasn't that old. It's such a good movie, dude. Those movies are great. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if this continues to the upside. It looks pretty good. Daily candle just open. Got that wick though, indicative of some selling pressure. We'll see what happens. Go back to the 4-hour. We got the US ISM PMI, which is the manufacturing purchases, and we are below 50. We need to get above 50 for expansion. We are in contraction at the moment. Never in the history of Bitcoin have we seen a bull market in contraction. So technically speaking, this is the best metric for my argument against the 4-year cycle. But right now, I look like an idiot because Bitcoin's going down. So we'll see if this thing gets back above 50 anytime soon. It's looking good, actually. News segment-wise, the market looks great for some macroeconomic headwinds to push, hopefully, this number up back above 50. I don't know how fast it can happen. Let's see. These are, unfortunately, these are like month to month, so I suppose there's none of these that look like they really, there we go. We got individual points. Yeah, it takes a couple of months, it looks like, for it to come out of, we're at 47.9 though. Right here was at 47.5, and yeah, that only took 1 month, so I guess it can get back above 50 in 1 month. Interesting. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Keeping an eye on it for sure. DXY currently performing very nicely as well. We've got 99,137. Last time we were this high was December 2025. December 10th. So it's only been a month. I don't like uptrend DXY because uptrend DXY usually means downtrend crypto. But we'll keep an eye on it. We got a little MW going on here. I'm wondering if we're going to get above this blue trend line, which is at the moment, or at least it should be, a pretty decent resistance based on previous price action. Let's go to the daily and see if we can get some insight here. Okay. So we got bottom, and then resistance. Let's see what plays out. This trend line, this yellow trend line, I think is very, very old trend line. Yeah, it goes back to 2011. So we've got 15-year trend line right here that we're hitting. Are we going to break below it? Or are we going to continue to bounce off of it? So we got previous, this was 2021, a little double bottom, expansion. Right now we kind of got a little double bottom. Unfortunately, looking at it too, and when I zoom way in, I kind of see an inverse head and shoulder with that W on the inside as well. I don't know if that's relevant at all. Figured I'd point it out. Tisha said, what's funny is pole bottom was December 31st. After New Year's, it's up only so far. See, it seems like a decent chunk of coins did that. And it's very curious because what changed on January 1st? Where's January 1st? We're on the daily. Congratulations. Gourmet Brands of Brooklyn, by the way. Once again, in your victory, enjoy your Choco Taco. ETH, January 1st. Right there. January 1st, upside. Sol, maybe it doesn't look as good on the daily. Wash trading. Yeah, it very much could have been wash trading, 100%. Very much could have been. So I guess here's my question. When I'm wash trading, do I have to wait until the end of the year? Like if I, let's say on January 1st, I bought $1 million worth of silver. And then by the end of the year, it's like December 20th, I'm down 50% on my silver buy. And I sell it. And then December 30th, I buy back into that position. What difference does that make, like doing it on December 30th than waiting on January 1st? Am I allowed to do that? Or are they going to be like, you can't do this because this is very obviously wash trading and you're not allowed to do that? Like, why would you wait until January 1st? Do you have to? I'm genuinely curious. I'm not trying to play devil's advocate here. I actually don't know. I suppose maybe having a tax expert on the channel would be kind of cool. Ask them some questions like that. All right. Let's go back down. We got DXY. We talked about MicroStrategy, aka Bakery Coffee, still sitting at 157.97, down 5.77%. We'll see tomorrow evening if this gaps up or down. Tisha said you can in crypto. Okay, so you can sell and immediately buy back. Okay. NASDAQ looks good. The fractal intact, beautifully playing out. We'll see how far that goes. RSI almost overbought on the 4-hour time frame. We'll obviously, again, have to wait until Sunday evening. And S&P 500, also beautiful fractal following. Be very much like where we're at right now. Dominance currently sitting at 59.13, and Bitcoin itself 90,588.52 cents. Congratulations, Gourmet Brands of Brooklyn, once again on your victory. AFAIK. I am gonna Google this. Don't judge me. Internet slang. Oh, as far as I know. Aha. Aha. Yes. A fake. A fake. A fake, of course. Okay. Bitcoin 90,588.51 cents. I want to check up on our fractal over here. That looks really good. Get a little zoom out. I think it's on a weekly time frame actually. Check this out. Bam. So this beautiful fractal actually is from this previous little downtrend we had right here, which everyone thought that we were entering the bear market back then as well. Only difference is, as you can see, you know, this transpired over the course of, from top to bottom, 119 days. This one from top to bottom, or from bottom to top, I guess bottom to bottom? Bottom to bottom. 224 days, which is almost twice as much. So it would make sense if we do end up, you know, taking twice as long to break out. It would suck because we would be stuck here till March, but wouldn't that be crazy if we just traded sideways until March? Jeez, you know, people would be pissed. Why are you still in crypto, man? They'd just start getting mad at you for being in crypto. Tisha said, respect for people that use tools. Okay. Bitcoin, 90,586.84 cents. So far, so good. On the weekly, our RSI is really inching close to that moving average, so a break above would be pretty cool to see if we can get some expansion. Yeah, last break above really sent us. Look at that. We broke above right here, which happens to be in between April 7th and April 14th. And that just sent us. And we're about to be entering springtime again. So you get the springtime spring. Very cool. Let's see what occurs with that. On total 3, I don't want to be on the weekly here, even though actually it doesn't look that bad. We got a slow burn up. What is it going to result in? I don't know. I find it funny looking at stuff like this, and people are like, "Oh, it's the same as last bull market." This, like, we had 2 clear definitive peaks. This one we got 1, 2, 3, all completely different, like, shapes and sizes. Peaks. It's nothing like any market we've ever seen before. Look at the volume increase over time too. It's kind of frightening. Oh, we got bearish div actually as well. Price is higher, RSI is lower. But that bearish div, all that does is calls for this temporary pullback and eventual lower RSI and higher price. Interesting, very interesting. I also like the idea of, because Bitcoin topped out early, it bottoming out early as well. And not necessarily the 4-year cycle being broken, but instead of an extended cycle, maybe we just have shorter cycles. And they play out on a much more like tame roadmap. So It's definitely interesting to take all these things into consideration. Our total 3 chart looks good right now. We're at 876.14. Yeah, I'm not entirely convinced that we're going to get back above 883 anytime soon. I suppose if we're going to be a little bit bearish, we could pull back down to 860. But we'll see. We'll see what plays out. Total 2. Also looks relatively similar. Clearly, the fractal is not playing out. Can I move it? Maybe. It seems like I'm cheating. Well, actually, maybe it doesn't. Maybe I lied. Maybe it seems totally fine. Let's zoom out first before I make any decisions. Yeah, no, that looks really good. And then when I scoot it, I feel like I am cheating for sure. That does not look as good as the original. I don't know, man. Imagine if we recoupled to this fractal, how crazy that would be. We are sitting smack dab in the middle of our 1.17 and 1.32 points of confluence. Let's see, we've kind of been trading in between these two for a while. Found support, resistance, midpoint. Are we going to use that as momentum to break above that 1.32? I feel like that's possible. And then total crypto market cap, 3.06 trillion. The total crypto market cap fractal, not looking too bad, actually. This one is freakishly accurate with like some very, very slight deviations, but the actual fractal compared to the actual price action is like scary accurate. So let's see, are we going to get a little MW here and break above 3.2 trillion? That would be pretty cool. We have a unconfirmed green dot on market cipher, red dot on the momentum wave, and our RSI is sitting right below that moving average, somewhat consolidating beneath it. Let's see if we get a break and rapid expansion to the upside. That would be pretty cool. We're going to be positioned for that possibility. Gourmet Brands Brooklyn, congratulations once again on your victory. Enjoy your Choco Taco, guys. Let's go to our news segment. Teacher said, for those that don't, I'll Google it for them and share the link from Let Me Google That For You. Let me Google that for you. Google if you're working in a group. That's really funny. Interesting. That's a thing? If you're working in a group. Huh. I'll have to watch that later and actually listen to what he's saying, but that cracks me up kind of. Are the regular links really long? I know Amazon links are really long sometimes. I try to share Amazon link and then it's like a paragraph long. I'm like, what is that? Anyways, Bitcoin 90,578 and 48 cents. Let's go through our news segment. I did it on you once, don't you remember? I feel like I do. I don't know. I feel like you bully me sometimes. I'm just kidding. I'm not a bitch. CZ posted, I could be wrong, but super cycle incoming 9 hours ago after seeing Blade DeFi post. Breaking, US SEC removes crypto from its 2026 priority risk list. Bullish for crypto. Let's freaking go. Kobe SC letter posted, President Trump has now 1. Called for a 10% cap on credit card interest rates. 2. Banned institutional purchases of single-family homes. 3. Bought $200 billion of mortgage bonds to lower interest rates. 4. Called for the Fed to cut interest rates to 1% in 2026. 5. Made $2 gallon gas prices a top economic priority. 6. Announced $2,000 tariff stimulus checks. When are we getting those? Please and thank you. And at the end, they just said midterm elections this year about to be insane. Let's get them stimmies done. Come on. Chop, chop, chop. Next, we also have another banger from CZ. First, I'll read the original post. CEO, investment CEO on X posted, breaking, Wells Fargo just purchased $383 million worth of Bitcoin. U.S. banks are loading up. And CC retweeted that or reposted that and said, while you were panic selling, US banks were loading up on Bitcoin. Guys, this used to be a conspiracy theory. Jesus, that made a lot of noise. This used to be a conspiracy theory. People would be like, oh, don't sell your bags. I'm not going to sell my bags to BlackRock. No thanks. I'll keep my bags. Thank you. And now everyone's like, you're still holding on to crypto? You idiot. It's going down. Good luck. Have fun. I'm only doing prediction markets now. And we're all losing money. The only difference is there's a lot more hands-on. I don't have to maintenance my money loss daily. I can just DCA and it goes down by itself. It's very nice. So I don't know. I'm just saying. If my conviction pays off and I'm able to buy a home just because I stayed around in crypto, that's going to be pretty sick. And I'm going to be very braggadocious about it when it does happen. So next, Cardano has been included in the NASDAQ crypto index. Very cool. We actually have the full index later on in the news segment. We got a big post, so bear with me on this one, from Shanaka Anselm Pereira. That is a sick name. China can buy all the oil they want from us. 7 words. The de-dollarization thesis just died. Trump to oil executives on Friday. Russia and China can purchase Venezuelan crude, but they purchase it through American firms in American dollars under American terms. 300 billion barrels, the largest proven reserves on Earth controlled by the United States. For a decade, the entire BRICS architecture was built on one premise: escape dollar dependency through alternative energy trade. Russia sells discounted crude to China in yuan. The shadow fleet enables sanctions evasion. Non-USD settlements grow quarter over quarter. That architecture assumed adversaries could access non-Western supplies. Trump just eliminated the non-Western supply. China bought 80% of Venezuelan exports before the blockade. Beijing's teapot refiners depended on discounted Mary crude delivered by shadow fleet tankers running dark across the Atlantic. That is a crazy sentence. What's a teapot refiner? Because all I can think of is a teapot. I don't think it's an actual teapot. Those tankers are being seized. Those flows are being rerouted, and the crude that remains will now be sold by Chevron and Exxon in dollars. This is not an oil policy. This is monetary warfare disguised as energy security. Every barrel China purchases from U.S.-controlled Venezuela strengthens the dollar. Every settlement funds American treasury flows. Every transaction reinforces the architecture BRICS spent years trying to escape. Russia understood this immediately. Moscow sent a submarine to protect one tanker. The submarine retreated. Now Russian crude competes with Russian ally crude being sold by American firms. The irony is perfect. Russia spent blood and treasure cultivating Maduro for 20 years. China lent $50 billion secured against future oil deliveries. The collateral now belongs to Washington. We are open for business. He's not offering partnership. He is offering terms of surrender. Buy from us or buy nothing. Pay in dollars or pay more. Accept American intermediation or lose access to Western Hemisphere heavy crude permanently. The multipolar energy order required one thing to function: supply diversity that excluded American control. Venezuela was the cornerstone. Venezuela is gone. That is pretty epic. I'm not going to lie. Massive. Circle now has approval to operate as a national trust bank in the U.S. Hell yeah. Hal Finney, 17 years ago today, the first ever tweet mentioning Bitcoin was posted by Hal Finney, running Bitcoin. What a frickin' legend. Binance founder CZ, also rest in peace. Binance founder CZ says, while you were panic selling, U.S. banks were loading up on Bitcoin. And he's not wrong. He also said supercycle incoming. Bitcoin is compressed below its growth law, and compression always resolves upwards. Bitcoin still obeys a single power law with extraordinary stability. R squared equals about 0.96, I guess. Across 15 plus years, bubbles and crashes are oscillations, not regime changes. Spot 90.5K is 25% below power law fair value. 120K placing price in a statistically cheap zone, not a topping structure. Every prior deviation of this magnitude resolved upward toward trend, never by trend breaking downward. The lower panel shows a classic market coil. Prolonged negative deviation stores pressure, which historically release via sharp repricing, not slow drift. Structural insight: volatility compresses, pressure accumulates, resolution is nonlinear, power laws correlate violently, not gently. This is what we always talk about, the pressure cooker. Bitcoin isn't stalling, it's coiling below its long-term growth law, and history says resolution comes by price catching up, not the law giving way. That is actually pretty sick. What's cool about looking at this is we got all these nice, like, big, flowy moves. Wow. And then all of a sudden we get really rocky, really bumpy, really uncertain. It looks like it's consolidating. Like, all of this from 2018 forward, in my opinion, looks like a monstrous consolidation, which might result in a crazy super cycle like CZ's talking about. No, I don't want to join that. Thank you. Tisha says Satoshi. I actually really like the Hal Finney is Satoshi theories. I think that one's the one that I like the most. Second place probably would be Jack Dorsey. My least favorite is Craig Wright, only because he seems like a complete tool bag. And the guy has zero proof. It's so bad how little proof he has. Like, I don't care if you're anonymous or not. If you're the guy, you're going to have proof. And nothing in anything Satoshi has ever done screams, I'm Craig Wright. I'm very narcissistic and everybody loves me and knows who I am. It's just goofy, man. I wonder if anyone actually knows who Satoshi is. You know what I mean? Like, genuinely. I wonder if anyone knows for sure this is Satoshi. I think it'd be cool to make a show, like, just kind of theorizing Satoshi's life. And, like, later on, like 4 or 5 seasons later, he can be, like, sitting at dinner and whatever, and then his friend is, like, sitting with him, and then they realize, they remember, they saw, like, something, and it, like, connects them to Satoshi, and they realize that their friend is Satoshi. So, I don't know. There's definitely plenty of material to write something with. Let's see. We've got Marty Party posting Bitfinex whales are aggressively closing Bitcoin longs, a signal that historically precedes massive volatility. Last time this unwind happened in early 2025, Bitcoin was stalling at 74K. This precedes the Wyckoff Spring, see charts below. The flush cleared leverage and ignited a 50% rally to 112K in just 43 days. With Bitcoin currently consolidating near 91,500, a similar fractal move targets 135K. When Bitfinex whales clear the books, they are essentially removing the target off the market's back. So he's thinking, which actually does correlate with his Wyckoff charts, which apparently are not in here, that we're going to get that dump down to probably 80K and then springboard off that to the upside. Tisha said, maybe a good question for Grok. Ooh, that is a great question, actually. Let's see. Who do you think Satoshi is? Satoshi Nakamoto, the creator of Bitcoin. Should I say is, was? I'm just going to say is. All right. As of January 10th, 2026, with the announcement rolling out around January 9 through 10, NASDAQ and CME Group have deepened their long-standing partnership to unify and rebrand their cryptocurrency indexing efforts. The original NASDAQ Crypto Index, NCI, first launched in 2021, has been reintroduced as the NASDAQ CME Crypto Index, still abbreviated as NCI. This creates a single joint benchmark designed specifically for institutional investors seeking regulated, transparent exposure to a diversified basket of major digital assets. Key highlights of the NASDAQ CME Crypto Index tracks a market cap weighted selection of leading cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Solana, Chainlink, Cardano, and Avalanche. It's dynamic with quarterly rebalancing to stay broadly representative of the market while being easy to track and replicate. That is pretty sick. Okay. Bitcoin, 90,634.88 cents. Looking a little bit green at the moment. Let's see what happens. That Pulse player, happy Saturday, my friend. Say it with me, Livermore, wishing you the biggest of all seasons salt of earth. Cheers. Cheers. No one deserves it more than you, JJ. Thanks again. Appreciate you, my friend. Appreciate that. Cheers, guys. I think we all deserve it. As long as I get a house at the end, I don't really care. All right. Raul Paul shares what he thinks happened October 10th. The market makers couldn't access the APIs. So who bought the stuff that was being liquidated? My guess is the exchanges had to step in. Whoever had all of that forced deleveraging. And they had to step in because there was no market at all and everything was automatically being liquidated. Can you imagine that happening? You're sitting at your screen, the market makers are shut out from making prices, yet everybody's being liquidated in the cascade. What do? Well, if you're Binance or whoever you're going to have to put your balance sheet on the line, and my guess is that that's what happened. So he's guessing that market makers had no access and the exchanges kind of had to do damage control and put the fire out, which is actually crazy. That's like your house catching on fire and the fire department is like out of gasoline for their fire trucks. So you and your neighbors just have to like use your hoses. It's crazy. Kobe SE letter posted. President Trump calls for a 10% cap on credit card interest rates for 1 year, effective January 20th. We talked about this yesterday. We did not read the post, though, so I'm going to read it today because I think this is kind of crazy and kind of awesome and kind of hilarious because credit card interest rates have been incredibly predatory for a very long time. I get offers in the mail, and they're like, amazing interest rate, 36.99%. And I'm like, whoa, are you freaking insane? That is not a good interest rate at all. Nobody should ever sign up for anything like that. Saeed said your stream is really awesome, especially the news segment. I appreciate that, Saeed. Thank you very much, my friend. Okay. Please be informed that we will no longer let the American public be ripped off by credit card companies that are charging interest rates of 20% to 30% and even more, which festered unimpeded during the sleepy Joe Biden administration. Affordability, effective January 20th, 2026, I, as President of the United States, am calling for a 1-year cap on credit card interest rates of 10%. Coincidentally, the January 20th date will coincide with the 1-year anniversary of the historic and very successful Trump administration. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Make America great again, President Donald J. Trump. That is freaking epic. If I didn't care about YouTube and stuff, I would say the F word, but I'm just going to say F in place of it. F the credit card companies. But also, guys, if you do have credit cards, try to pay them off. If you keep them paid down, like if you utilize less than 30%, your credit will skyrocket. I've built my credit up from very bad credit because I had a car repossessed when I was a teenager. So, it was fun though. I learned a lot. There's a lot to learn for sure. Saeed said, give us a live scalp trade, especially one on the candle close. If there's volatility, I will. But there has not been volatility. We got teach you. Okay. Probability someone new Satoshis. Okay. Oh, that's the question. Okay, we do have Grok. We have a different Grok question being answered, but I will read this. Teach you asked Grok. I guess if anyone knew Satoshi's real identity. If we force this into probabilities, clearly subjective but grounded in what we know, here's a reasonable estimate most Bitcoin historians would agree is defensible. Probability, someone knew Satoshi's real identity at the time, around 60 to 80%. Why it's more likely than not, Satoshi was a human or small group operating for years, not a ghost. Writing code, handling emails, and sustaining secrecy over time is hard to do completely alone. If Satoshi was a group, then by definition multiple people knew. If Satoshi was a single person, then likely had a close friend, spouse, or colleague who at least suspected something unusual, a work or academic environment where their cryptography interests were known. Probability someone knew and understood they were Satoshi, around 30 to 40. Knowing the person or knowing they created Bitcoin, maybe or many could have known Satoshi personally without realizing they were building. Probability anyone outside Satoshi's circle knew for sure, 5 to 10%. This fits the historical record. Early collaborators only knew Satoshi Nakamoto. No leaks, no deathbed confessions, no documents, no moved coins, which would instantly expose proof. Probability that knowledge still exists today, 10 to 20%. Reason it's low, if the person died, knowledge may have died with them. Those who knew may not realize the importance. Anyone who knows and understands the consequences has massive incentive to stay silent. Bottom line, it's very likely someone somewhere at some point knew who Satoshi was. It's unlikely that person both knew with certainty, is alive, and is willing to reveal it. If you want, I can also estimate probability Satoshi was a group or an individual, probability Satoshi's still alive, or probability we'll ever know for sure. I don't think we'll ever know, and I actually like it that way. I do. And maybe it was the CIA, and maybe it's all a psyop, but maybe I don't care. Okay. Said said, how about Zcash? Can we continue to sell? I will check that out for you. Teach you said ChatGPT. Okay. Go check out Zcash. So what happened with Zcash was actually quite an anomaly. Interesting. It's continuing to sell off. Let me see if I can pull it up over here. Zcash. Zcash team. Where is the thing? Do. All right. So people were claiming that Zcash lost its core dev team, and that's not actually what happened at all. They very clearly bruised the reputation of the project. But basically, what happened was they were part of like the, let's call it like the centralized Zcash entity. I don't know what it was, and that entity had imposed rules that would essentially no longer allow the Zcash core dev team to provide their services in the way that they saw fit, maybe from a decentralized nature. There was clearly something maybe immoral or something that they just didn't like. And they said, we need to fix this. And the powers that be were like, no, we're not going to fix it. And then they were like, okay, bye. And they left. They did not leave Zcash. They left this entity. And they went and formed their own entity, all of them. So the core dev team basically like moved from this building to this building. And that's it. But because it was made into such a big spectacle, the price dumped because of it. So the dump is something of a nothing burger. Because the news that it dumped on was very much a cop-out. Is it going to continue to fall, or is it going to find support somewhere? I actually don't know. What's really interesting, check this out. Look way back here. The price was around 40 bucks. No, 30 bucks maybe. You have a confirmed green dot on Market Cipher. That was the last one you had before this most recent one, which just happened, I think, today. Confirmed green dot at Market Cipher. That signals a reversal. Now, I don't know how foolproof that is. You do have a double bottom on your RSI. Both oversold. Bullish div, though. And that bullish div is pretty big. If your price actually goes up from here, you get a little bit of green. Just a little bit. That's all you need. Then you will have some pretty hefty definitive bullish divergence signaling further upside in the short term on the price and further downside in the long term. So you'll have to keep an eye on that. Hopefully this trend can be broken and it can just do like a slow grind to the upside. The green dot might signal a little more bullish momentum rather than that continued downside. So it's very much a toss-up. Volume looks great. Unfortunately, the price action is weak. And I suppose, actually, I would just look at 300 for the price. You want to hold 300. That's your bottom line if it gets really bad. And right now, you're kind of dancing around with 370, I'm going to call it. And that's pretty much it. You got like a little consolidation point right here and right here, both of which utilize that $300 and $370 price levels. But your RSI is oversold, so you could reverse and just go straight up from here. You do have wicks, which these ones are kind of going both ways, very much indecisive. So the market's trying to figure it out. What's nice is on Market Cipher, you got this big fat cloud on the lower half, which usually results in a reversal, flip to the upside. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. If you do hold 370 and you try to go up further, I guess you'd be good up until maybe 450. Yeah, 450 looks good. You got all this resistance, 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 support. So you stay above 370 and you get a proper bounce, you could see 450 next. Bitcoin up 0.16%. Congratulations, Gourmet Brands Brooklyn, once again on your victory. Enjoy your Choco Taco. Bitcoin $90,650.75, guys. Don't forget to smash the like button. I appreciate you guys for being here. Let's continue our news segment. Last Friday night, President Maduro woke up to U.S. forces capturing him and taking him to New York. Tonight, U.S. credit card company CEOs are waking up to President Trump calling to cap credit card interest rates at 10%. What's going on with Friday nights? I like the idea that they're just like shooting the shit and like making all these grand plans during the week. And then Friday happens and they're like, watch this. And then they announce all this crazy stuff. And they watch the market do nothing. And then Monday it goes like some crazy direction. And they're like, hey. All right. Monday is going to be an interesting day. This is exactly what I was talking about. Credit card companies' stock won't be able to react to this major news from Trump for another 50 plus hours. Either millions of credit cards will be canceled or credit card companies are going to take a large hit. It's midterm election season. Trump won't let the former happen. Very cool. President Trump says the U.S. is ready to help as Iran is looking for freedom. Iran is looking for freedom, perhaps like never before. The USA stands ready to help President Donald J. Trump. It is pretty crazy what's happening over in Iran. And Iran. That's such a good song. This is concerning. U.S. jobs numbers. This is what I keep talking about with interest rates. And everyone's like, oh, the jobs numbers are good. They're probably not. They've literally revised every single job number release. U.S. jobs numbers have been revised down in all 11 months in 2025 by a total of 624,000 jobs. In other words, each job report last year was revised down by an average of 56,728 jobs. On Friday, November's jobs report was revised down 8,000 to 56,000 total, like positive 56,000. At the same time, October's jobs report was revised down by 68,000 to minus 173,000, to the weakest monthly reading since December 2020. If this average pace continues, the December jobs report would be revised down to around minus 6,700 from the initially reported 50,000. What is happening here? We've had negative jobs for 11 months, which is why I think that the Fed took too long to cut rates. Huge. So far, 2026 has added $120 billion to the crypto market. Hell yeah. Latest, Zero ETH is waiting to be unstaked the first time since July 2025. It is about damn time. I think that the unstake queue is the weirdest thing with ETH. Like, why do they still have locked staking? It's weird to me. Public companies now hold over 923,000 Bitcoin, worth $86 billion. That is a lot of Bitcoin. Insight, stablecoin-powered cards are set to go mainstream in 2026 per Dragonfly executive. I will be loading up on stablecoin card, as long as the fees aren't predatory, which when they first start out, they're probably going to be, let's be honest. Latest A16Z just raised $15 billion. That is so much money. And says crypto is essential for America to win the next century. Let's freaking go. New. The Solana ETF has been green since December 14th, 2025. It looks like it's only had 3 red days, which is insane. We've got ETFs. While the ETH ETFs only saw 68.6 million in net outflows this week, the Bitcoin ETF saw a whopping 671.9 million in weekly net outflows. Dang. Goldman Sachs says 2026 crypto regulation could unlock a major wave of institutional Bitcoin adoption. Where have they been? I don't know. Huge anti-DeFi groups are buying Fox News ads to kneecap DeFi. Tell your senator, pass crypto legislation without DeFi provisions. Paid for by investors for transparency. Get the hell out of here. New. Pump Fund says its fees broke incentives, so it's fixing them. Are you sure it's the fees? Because I'd argue that it's just lack of liquidity. Alert. Betterment warned users to ignore an unauthorized message falsely promising to triple Bitcoin and Ether deposits. Important update regarding unauthorized message. Earlier this evening, you may have received a message referencing a crypto-related Betterment promotion. This was an unauthorized message sent via a third-party system we use for marketing and other customer communications. Please note that this is not a real offer and should be disregarded. We apologize for any confusion. I would file a lawsuit and demand 3 times my Bitcoin and Ethereum. Derek said, everything is gold, man, except the sack. Yes. Insights. Trump will not pardon SBF. Hell yes. That is what we like to hear. Cheers. Fuck that guy. What an absolute douchebag loser. Rot in jail. He's probably Diddy's bitch, too. And what's funny is I'm pretty sure Caroline gets to, like, roam free. Is she out yet? I think she got out. She might not be yet. She got, like, a really light sentence, though, last I checked. Market. There are 2 times more longs than shorts on Bitcoin. So we might, unfortunately, see a long squeeze. Is that a thing? A long liquidation and a short squeeze? Did they do that on purpose? Long liquidation in both our L's, short squeeze, both our S? Why can't it be a long squeeze? Is that a bad thing? They don't want us. You don't want us saying long squeeze. Does that sound weird? What's wrong with long squeeze? Bitcoin, $90,624. I'm sorry, $90,642.04. We are chilling. Literally smack dab in the middle. These green lines are our liquidation points from the liquidation heat map. And we are just right in the middle, completely flatline. This happens every single Saturday. I wonder, because Kalshi and Polymarket have bets on where Bitcoin's going to go in the next 15 minutes or for the daily close or whatever like that. I wonder if we can place bets just for every single Saturday that pretty much nothing will happen. What will that win rate look like? Because I'm pretty sure Saturdays suck, like historically. Long squeeze, the Goldman Sachs, right? All right. Latest. A whale withdrew 1,320 Bitcoin from Binance worth $120 million. Very cool. Insight. Despite Iran's internet blackout, crypto could still function via satellites, mesh networks, and other offline tools. I think the mesh network is the coolest thing. Has anyone seen the show Pantheon? I think it's on Netflix right now. It's very much like a cartoon version of Mr. Robot. I would compare it to. But spoilers, at some point the government shuts down the internet, or the internet gets fried from some rogue AI or something like that. And the young girl main character creates a mesh network, and everybody downloads nodes or whatever from the mesh network, and they essentially have communication in their town because of it. I thought that was cool. I read this really long post as well about how the mesh network, Jack Dorsey specifically, his bit chat is really popular in, I think, Uganda, because their government, they like scam the election every year. He's basically been the leader for like since like the 80s or something like that. And they're not able to stop BitChat because it's just a localized mesh network. So I don't know. I thought it was interesting. Okay. Next, we've got Barron Trump has made over $80 million from crypto, according to Forbes. That's pretty crazy. Bitcoin has never dropped below its electrical cost. Its current electrical cost is $71,000. Keep in mind, again, it has never dropped below that. I will say, however, on this chart, I do see a wick around 2020 that shows it dropping below the electrical cost. I'm just saying. Next. No one uses Bitcoin. This is 2024, so the data is a little bit dated, but MasterCard did $24.78 trillion in transactions. Visa did $38.98 trillion in transactions. This is a bear market year, by the way, 2024. Bitcoin did $46.4 trillion in transactions. So eat shit, MasterCard and Visa. Bye-bye. Saeed said, when will be the midterm polls in America? How will it affect crypto? So, let's see. When are midterms? Midterms March through November. So it's a long period, but it starts in March. I usually just like to go to the midpoint, June, middle of the year. It could affect crypto in multiple ways. My theory right now is that Trump is going to attempt to essentially bribe the voters. He's going to try to sway the vote towards the Republicans with just a bombardment of like good news and dopamine. So they're going to send out stimulus checks. They're going to cap interest rates on credit cards at 10%. They're going to actually properly lower interest rates on mortgages. They're going to introduce the 50-year mortgage, which is the dumbest thing in the world. They're going to lower the cost of housing. They're going to do all of these things, and everyone's going to be like, wow, Republicans are amazing. I love Republicans. I'm going to vote for the Republicans because they gave me money, and they made my house cheaper, and they allowed me to refinance my mortgage. And my credit card debt is a lot less now, or whatever. That's essentially my theory right now, is that Trump is going to go, we need to win midterms, have some money. Here's more money. Do you want some money? Here's some money. And then everyone's going to go, I like money. I like the money people. The Republicans are the money people. That's who I'm voting for. That's my theory. Jay Shear said BitChat is pretty cool, not going to lie. It's pretty sweet. But honestly, BitChat like tickles the like white hat, black hat, little like cypherpunk inside my brain. It makes me very excited for like some weird post-apocalyptic future that's probably never going to happen. Bitcoin Therapist posted, one day after Hal Finney started running Bitcoin software, he casually predicted the price could reach 10 million a coin. This was in 2009 when price was $0. Tishu said, I like crypto. I like crypto too. Amen. This is pretty cool. We have an amusing thought experiment. Imagine that Bitcoin is successful and becomes the dominant payment system in use throughout the world. Then the total value of the currency should be equal to the total value of all the wealth in the world. Current estimates of total worldwide household wealth that I have found range from 100 trillion to 300 trillion. With 20 million coins, that gives each coin a value of about $10 million. So the possibility of generating coins today with a few cents of compute time may be quite a good bet, with a payoff of something like 100 million. To 1. Even if the odds of Bitcoin succeeding to this degree are slim, are they really 100 million to 1 against something to think about? Hell, that is pretty sick. Pretty sure those odds are better than winning the lottery. Not gonna lie. Crypto Spaces said, it's good to be positive. I love crypto. Just need my coins to go up. I don't mind my down coins. I like being able to accumulate more, but I'm gonna need some incentive soon. Like, if they just go up just a little bit, they can, like, go boop and then sideways some more. I don't mind that. But if they go pew, that makes me sad. And I don't like being sad. All right. Congratulations, Gourmet Brands of Brooklyn, once again on your victory. Enjoy your Choco Taco. Finally acquired one whole Bitcoin at 28 years old. That is a quote from a gentleman on the Bitcoin Reddit page. Congratulations, my friend. Very cool. What a freaking legend. Could you imagine the feeling? 28 years old, too. That's awesome. CryptoZaurus posted, sellers are running out. This chart proves it. Bitcoin is holding while exchange supply keeps falling to levels we haven't seen since 2018. What was 2018, you ask? 2018 was the year before 2019. 2019, allegedly, was the year the bull market kicked off. And then 2021 was the top. Is that true? Maybe I made that up. Hold on. I believe 2017 was the bull market. 18, 19, 20. Yeah, then 2021 was the proper top. So 2019 maybe was the Pico bottom. Let's go see. 20, I'm not allowed to see, I guess. 2018. Bam. Okay. Oops. Yeah, 2018 right here. That was bear market, baby. Oh my gosh. So the 2017 topped, and then 2018 was that 1 year of downtrend. That's what it was. That's 2018 right there. Downtrend. So that argument essentially puts us in a bear market, which I think we knew already. What was I looking at right here? Okay, since 2018. Interesting. So are we going to get a pop similar to 2021 like we've been looking for the next bull? See, this is very stretched out, though. What we've just experienced is like very much a sharp sell-off. I don't know. The pattern is not as observable as I had hoped. I do like this fractal, though, that I completely forgot about. Where is this from? Oh, yeah, this is that monster fractal. So I actually pulled that fractal. It's actually this gigantic move, and I put it up here, and I stretched it out like crazy. So I'm going to zoom out here just so you guys can see how ridiculous this is. That fractal is targeting a potential $1 million Bitcoin. Not financial advice. That would be pretty sick. Not saying it's going to happen. I just like what it looks like, which is totally allowable. I'm allowed to like it. I will say, and I think I pointed this out earlier, the weekly RSI on Bitcoin looks fantastic right now. We are potentially about to cross bullish over the moving average, and we got a green dot on our momentum wave on Market Cipher with positive money flow. It was oversold. It's crossing into the safe territory right now, but the cloud to the downside will eventually need to flip to the cloud to the upside. Crypto Spaces said, guys, eat a peg of garlic every morning before any meals. Do it daily. It's very healthy for you. Okay, I'm Italian, so I think there's actually garlic in my blood. All right, 4-hour time frame. Zoom out. Me, Kevin, was talking about this Mediterranean diet, dude. He cracks me up sometimes. I like to watch his stuff because he's got like good macro insights and stuff. But man, does he show his groups and stuff like that. It's too much. But he's sitting there, he's talking about the Mediterranean diet thing in his video today, and he has no voice. He's like, I lost my voice. And his skin is all like pink, like it looks like he's about to have a really bad rash. And he's talking about the Mediterranean diet, and I'm like, I don't think the Mediterranean diet's good for you, Kevin. He's always sick or sniffling. And he's like, the Mediterranean diet's so great. I'm like, I don't know, man. You seem to be struggling a little bit sometimes. I don't do the Mediterranean diet, and I don't have, issues nearly as frequently as he does. But I'm sure he's out and about, shaking hands, talking to people a lot more frequently than I am. So Crypto Spaces said, meet Kevin, hardworking content creator, 100% for sure. He deserves his wealth that he has. I agree with that. It was I do miss the old days though. I miss the old days of like early meet Kevin. That's for sure. Not that I have a problem with the new one. It's just Crypto Spaces said it's tough to post daily like that. Him and Crypto Lifer. Does Lifer upload videos daily? I actually don't know if I've ever looked. Crypto Lifer. He's live right now, actually. And you guys are here watching me. I appreciate that. Crypto Lifer show videos. He does not post videos daily. He live streams daily, though. Okay, I got it. I live stream daily, man. Can't blame them for the paid groups. No, I mean, I don't know. It's not my thing. I don't know. Nobody's forcing you to pay for it. I guess the issue that I have is the constant shoehorning. He's like, I don't have ads on my videos, but then he's like, buy my group, my coupon code, my paid group. Make sure you guys sign up for my group and my coupon code. Make sure you use coupon code blah 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 at group blah blah blah. Go to blah blah blah.com and blah blah blah. And it's like nonstop. You get like a minute of like content, and then he's talking about a group again, and then another minute of content, and then he's talking. It's literally like watching cable TV with the commercials. Crazy. So hopefully he simmers down with that a little bit. It's getting out of control though. I'm not a patient person though, so that's probably a factor. Anyways, the combination matters. Bitcoin are leaving exchanges. Long-term holders aren't distributing. New demand is being absorbed without fresh supply hitting the market. Every previous cycle, this setup didn't resolve sideways forever. It resolved up. Once sellers were exhausted, the supply is quietly disappearing while price refuses to break, and that's how big moves start. Very cool. Crypto Spaces said I would do it too if I was able to pull it off because the group pays way more. 1,000 people sign ups for $500 a month is money. $500 a month is crazy. That's insane. I don't know. It's just, it seems predatory to me. That much money. Like if you got a group that's like 10, 15, 20 bucks a month, sure. And you're offering real value, sure. I think the problem that I have is so many people do that, and probably 98% of the paid groups out there are actually garbage. Like regurgitated nonsense, either spun up through AI or stolen from somewhere else entirely, just straight plagiarized. So the 2%, I make an argument that Kevin is probably you get your value out of what you pay, but it's just not for me. I'm not that guy. I got no problem with people that do it as long as they're respectful about it. Ted posted, this could be a possible scenario for Bitcoin. I still think Bitcoin will hit 98 to 100K before any major downtrend. We got kind of like this little ascending channel. I think there's a bear flag, and he's looking for a bounce off that bear flag, which looks like it's around 88, 87K, and then continue to the upside. So we'll see. Mr. Ted Pillows posting different opinions every single day. Vice President J.D. Vance says Bitcoin is a hedge against inflation. Very cool. Just Dance Vance strikes again. Trending Bitcoin posted analyst predicts Bitcoin will hit 500K and be the world reserve currency at $100 11 years ago. 3,000 Bitcoin and you're a billionaire. Damn. Crypto Spaces said 500K a month. Yeah, 99% lacks value and don't make people money. Derek said the minute you start shilling paid courses, I'm out. Honestly, I don't think I would ever be able to offer any. Like, what am I? That's where I think I struggle. I cannot, like, justify in my brain what I would offer. So it's hard for me to think that anybody else is offering anything of value. You know what I mean? It's goofy to me. Derek said, so tired of being treated like an ATM by literally everyone. Exactly. Here, my value incentive here is if you guys want to donate money to me via super chat, go ahead. If you don't, I don't give a shit. I have no obligation to you. You have no obligation to me. That's it. That's the bottom line. I like being here. I like hanging out with you guys. Crypto Spaces said, but grifters make millions that way. Way of the world. It's not straight up scamming. That's true. And again, nobody's forcing those people. You know, they might use some shady snake oil tactics to be like, well, you'll make millions of dollars if you sign up for this crap. That's shady. But the person signing up also, you know, you got to use common sense and be like, well, maybe I am how they are making millions of dollars, and not actually they're trading. Because I'll tell you what, if I'm trading well enough to the point where I mentally think I can sell this, I don't need the money. Why would I ever, like, if I'm a trader and I'm making millions of dollars, even just a year, even 100K, 250K a year trading, why the hell would I ever need to sell a course? Shouldn't I just continue trading and make more money that way? If I'm that great, there's no justification around it. And then if you're like, well, I want to help people, then do it for free. You can do that for free. You don't want to help people. You want to make money. So shut the hell up and stop lying to yourself and to everyone around you. It's crazy. All right, let's continue. Alt season officially confirmed. Altcoins are ready to easily 40 to 50x from here. Hell yeah. We've seen this chart 1,000 times. We've been looking at it for like a year, but it's just as exciting as it was 12 months ago. Crypto Spaces said, this is why I say I want to make millions from crypto trading, because most don't pull it off, but there are people that do. That's true. Tishu said, spoiler alert, the money comes from sold courses. Exactly, yeah. Learn how to, my favorite, literally like my favorite meme is the people, it's like a picture of somebody crying, and it's like when you buy a book called How to Scam People off Amazon and it never shows up or something like that. It's so funny. How to make millions scamming people or something, and then the book never shows up because it didn't exist. Every time altcoins consolidated this long, they ripped 5 to 10x. It happened every cycle. You can debate if alt season is real, or you can position before it rips. Make a decision, guys. Put the hammer to the anvil and do something about it. We do have crypto total market cap excluding top 10 dominance. We got a oversold, looks like stochastic RSI. Let's see where we end up. It's gonna be a fun time for sure. Parabolic posted the altcoin bottom. Everyone's calling altcoins dead. I'm calling this the most bullish macro setup since 2019. Let me show you why. August 2019, Fed ended quantitative tightening. Liquidity returned to markets. Falling wedge broke to the upside. Altcoins outperformed for 2 years straight. December 2025, quantitative tightening ended again. Others' dominance bounced from multi-year support. Identical falling wedge structure. Same macro liquidity inflection point. The pattern is undeniable. When central banks expand balance sheets, liquidity returns, capital flows down the risk curve, altcoins explode. But here's what makes this time so different. Nobody believes in it anymore. Right now, the narratives are altcoins will never pump again, too much dilution now, VCs dumped on retail, meme coins killed alt season, the full year cycle is dead, and Bitcoin only thesis won. Textbook capitulation. In 2019, they said the exact same things. ICO bubble, dead forever. Only Bitcoin matters. Then liquidity returned, and altcoins ran for 2 years. The dilution narrative, that's 2019's ICO scam repackaged. Different words, same psychology, same bottom structure. 2026 equals liquidity expansion phase. Will every altcoin pump? No, but the quality projects will, and they'll outperform everything else. Position selection matters. Liquidity expansion lifts the sector, but you still need to pick the winners. If you're positioned in quality projects while everyone else is capitulating, you're not early. You're positioned at the bottom. This is the macro liquidity setup. You're patient enough to win, or are you patient enough to win? Parabolic. This is a freaking brilliant post. I'm going to repost that. I'm probably going to actually try to reference that again later on in the week because that was beautifully put. What a freaking legend. I'm going to go follow them. Love that. What a great post. Bitcoin, $90,578.19. Crypto Spaces said, and I believe in myself. I am one of those people. Derek said, you can also become a manifestation coach and sell courses for 1K and then brag about how you manifested the money and can help them do it too. Crypto Spaces said the recent cycle felt like a 6-month bull run from Q4 2023 to Q1 2024. Maybe Q2 2024, but that was it. And let me know, right, Derek, if we had a 2-year bull run, man, dude, I actually really like the 6-month bull run theory. So there's 2 options on the board right now. We have, let me find a blank canvas that I can utilize. Let me go to, sure. So we have either Bitcoin 4-year cycle is dead, expanding to 5+, or Bitcoin shortened cycles 6 or so months. I like both of these options. They both make sense. The 4-year cycle is definitely dead, in my opinion. Even if we are in a bear market right now, I think that Bitcoin closing out the post-halving cycle, or the post-halving year red, killed the 4-year cycle. There's no blow off top, no euphoria. It just kind of like slowly, like it got a little bit higher in value, and then it died off. So I think the 4-year cycle is dead no matter what. The question is, are we expanding to a 5-year cycle or shortened cycles? I kind of like the shortened cycles more because I feel like there would be more opportunity to make money. But I also like the idea of experiencing a multi-year super cycle kind of setup. That would be freaking awesome. So I'm kind of biased on both sides. I'm not sure. I can't really make up my mind. I'm bad when it comes to multiple options, multiple choice. I'm so bad at picking one thing. I get like analysis paralysis to the point where I should be medicated. Okay. Cycle ended. We ended on apathy, right? Okay. Next. Nancy Pelosi has been defeated by inverse Kramer. It's true. The greatest trader of our generation has been bested by doing the opposite of Jim Cramer. That is freaking hilarious. Where do I sign up? Jim Cramer recently said to buy stocks or something like that. Or not, he said not to buy stocks. He said I would stay away from the stock market or something like that. So we're probably going much, much higher. Crypto Spaces said, which is horrendous, but can't give up. 100% cannot give up. That's my my whole thing. I've talked about it a million times. It's much easier to cope with losing, $10,000 than it is to cope with missing out on millions. It is so much easier. Like, imagine you lost 10K. Just think about that for a second. That sucks. That's like a huge gut punch. You're going to have to tell your wife, maybe borrow money from your mom or get a loan from the bank or something. Maybe your car gets repossessed. Something crazy like that happens. Guess what? You can recover from that. It's going to be okay. You built up that $10,000 before, like just by sheer brute force, you built up that money. You can do it again. It's going to take some time, a little bit of effort. You got to pull yourself up by your bootstraps and get back to it. It's not that hard. Now, here's the alternative to that. Imagine you did not lose that 10K. Imagine you sold your bags. You have 10K. Awesome. You have $10,000. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. And then the market explodes. The market does a 10, 15, 20, 100x. And you realize, you do the math, you're like, oh shit. If I would have held on to my crypto, I would have $500,000 right now, or $750,000 right now, or $1 million right now. If I had just held on to my crypto and maybe took the risk of possibly losing $10,000, I would be a millionaire, potentially. Which one's harder to deal with? Building yourself back up from losing 10K, or having 10K knowing you could have had 500, 750, $1 million? One of those is a lot easier to cope with, in my opinion. Tisha said inverse Kramer for the win. Yeah, dude, we need just an inverse Kramer ETF. Is there? Did they make one? I thought they made one. I don't know. Okay, we got bar chart now. Cocoa plunges more than 12%. Its third biggest loss this century. That is crazy. I don't know why that's happening. PayPal just going to miss the entire bull market. I'm curious as to what PayPal is going to do, because they performed really well during 2021, and I would say that was maybe partially in part due to the cryptocurrency thing, because we had a huge bull market in 2021, and PayPal was one of those beautiful on-ramps. Crypto Spaces said, where are we on the cheat sheet? That's a great question. Let's take a look. What do we think? Should we do another poll? Let me end the poll in the chat right now. End poll. So I asked you guys, what would you rather buy right now? You had the choice of Bitcoin, S&P 500, nothing, you're waiting, or gold and silver. We had 10 votes. 5 of you said Bitcoin. 2 of you said S&P 500. 2 of you said nothing, you were waiting. And just one of you said you're buying gold and silver. Which leads me to my next question. Next poll. Where are we right now? Wall Street cheat sheet. We have, I'm going to go hope / optimism. Complacency / anxiety. Panic, capitulation, anger, and last but not least, depression, disbelief. All right, start poll. Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the poll in the chat. Where are we right now in regards to the Wall Street cheat sheet on the screen? Are we at hope / optimism, right around here, complacency, anxiety on the downside, panic, capitulation, and anger right at the beginning of the bottom, or depression and disbelief, the beginning of the beginning? What are you guys thinking? This is the Bitcoin chart. I actually think I can overlay it with the Bitcoin chart. Let's go to a bigger Bitcoin chart. I'm going to go to Bitcoin USD, and I'm going to go to crypto. I'm going to zoom out on the daily at the very least. And we're going to go pull this bad boy up. Bam. Where do you all think we are? And is it going to be as structural as that? You know? And if so, then we're looking at May to October for depression and then disbelief, which I've told you guys a couple of times already. The most money that I ever made in crypto so far is actually from like climbing out of the bear market. 2024. Was it 2024? No, it was 2022. It was like 2023, 2022, 2023 time frame. I made more money in crypto than I had made during the 2021 bull market. Cheers, guys. Crypto Spaces said white whale on Sol just hit 200 mil, so I think it's disbelief right now. It couldn't hit that in complacency or anger. That is actually fair. Yeah, I have a hard time because complacency, anxiety, denial, panic, that's like a harsh downtrend. We have not hit that at all. So a lot of people are making the argument that this is actually this little shelf, that little bear flag that leads to further downside. And that's entirely possible, but I don't think that we're going to go down that much further. I think this is the bear market. This right here from July, let's call it July, all the way down to where we're at right now. And maybe we had a couple of little peaks in between them, but altcoins have been decimated. And we know for a fact that altcoins have more value. Indicator error. Something has gone wrong with one or more of your indicators. Click the arrow button to the left to expand the indicator list. Oh, volume? Who cares? What do I got to do? Refresh? Can I do that? Okay, it's fine. Anyways, Jordan thinks it's complacency. Complacency. It could be. It could be. I don't think so. But that's entirely possible. I would argue we're either at like capitulation, anger, or depression, disbelief. That's my opinion. I don't think I don't know. We're either at the end of a bear market or at the end of a very, very short bull cycle bear market. I don't know. I think the cycle is different, and everyone was, oh, this time is different. Yes, it is different. It is completely different. We didn't have euphoria. We didn't have a blow off top. We didn't have everyone and their brother, telling everyone in their family to buy crypto and Bitcoin and everything like that. It's completely different. Bitcoin topped out before it topped out the year of the halving. It topped out before its halving, actually. And the post-halving year closed red. There's a million reasons why this time was different, no matter what. So if somebody tells you it has to be the same because it's always been the same, it's already not the same. So that argument's silly. That's not me saying we're for sure not going to be in a proper 4-year cycle, 1-year bear market. That's just me saying this time is different no matter what. Crypto Spaces said, another YouTuber, Vision Pulsed Crypto Gains, thinks so as well. Ben Cowan thinks complacency as well. Nobody thinking cool off for next rally, though. I think most agree a bear market might be in the cards, lol. And my problem with that is that last time most thought we had more upside, and they were wrong. So this time they think we have downside. I'm going to bet on them being wrong, because they were so wrong last time. And my biggest bone to pick with that list is Ben Cowan, because he always, I literally have a clip. I have a clip of him talking about the 4-year cycle and how it's never been a 4-year cycle. He literally says in the clip, it's never been a 4-year cycle, and it was only a 4-year cycle one time. We've only had one 4-year cycle. Everything else has been different. And then he's now preaching about how Bitcoin's in a 4-year cycle and it's always been a 4-year cycle. I don't think he knows what he's talking about. He flip-flops more than other people that flip-flop all the time. Here's the video. I have to make sure I mute it at the right time because there is music, but I'm going to mute myself so that you guys can hear this. I posted this on my X account, so if you guys haven't already, go follow me there. It's kind of hilarious. I'm very proud of it, but I'm going to go dark for a moment.
Okay? And that is a very common misconception, in my opinion, that the cycles are 4 years. In fact, the only 4-year cycle was the last market cycle. And so you could argue that there's some recency bias for people thinking that Bitcoin has to operate on fairly well-defined 4-year cycles. I've always had a hard time believing that, considering, generally speaking, the entire market, all of market participants can't just know when the cycle peak's going to be. Markets just don't work like that, right? I mean, a lot of people miss it. And so if the idea is everyone sells their Bitcoin in December, it's more or less not going to happen because what ends up happening is people front run it. And so we never reach those crazy valuations that we once saw. So all those predictions that you saw earlier this year, calling for 100K Bitcoin, 200K, 300K Bitcoin by the end of the year, they're just falling by the wayside. And now people are kicking the can down the road in terms of their predictions. But look, lengthening cycles, the evidence for it has been there for years.
Lengthening cycles evidence has been there for years. Literally nonstop in 2021, talking about lengthening cycles. And then all of a sudden, he's a 4-year cycle maxi come November. When the Fed started QE, blah, 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 everyone spins their wheels and validate the 4-year cycle, and it ends up playing out again anyways. What is he talking about? Has it only ever played out once? Or has it played out every single time? And now he got done in that 2021 video. He said it's never played out. It has never been that cut and dry. You've never been able to define the 4-year cycle. And then on freaking December 20th, he's like, well, it's literally 4 years every single time. 4 years, 4 years, 4 years. So which one is it? Is it recency bias, Ben? Or is the 4-year cycle law? Has it been written in, is the 4-year cycle the 11th commandment? Make up your damn mind, man. Because that's embarrassing. I'm sorry. Bitcoin, $90,593.46. Let's see. Crypto Spaces said, when was this clip from, Ben? The date was on there. Make sure you sign up for the crypto. Yeah. Yeah. I will say, I guess that's another argument. Ben does have a group that he shills, but he is a smart guy. And he does, make charts and stuff like that. So, that one, you are actually, I don't know how much he charges. If it's insane, then screw him. But there is some value proposition there because he is actually, creating data. So, it's not just someone regurgitating somebody else's content. Tisha said Ben does sell a plan on his website. Has a free tier though. Okay, there you go. Yeah, the date was in that clip. If you guys want to go check it out, I posted it. When did I post it? I shouldn't have closed that freaking window. Hold on. I posted it on December 31st, 2025. Go check it out. The video clip is from 4 years ago. Oh geez, who knows, man. I think I zoom in on the date. All right, unless I just zoom in on the 4 years part. Yeah, no, it was just 4 years ago. And then his most recent posts. So in that clip, he's like, there's never been any evidence to suggest that the 4-year cycle is a real thing. And it's not well defined at all and all this stuff. And then he talks about how it's just recency bias. Everyone trying to talk about the 4-year cycle being law is recency bias. And then when they get invalidated, they kick the can down the road. And now he's talking about how the 4-year cycle is law. And it's always been law. And he's making posts about how, like, it's very well defined. And it's always been well defined. What's the name of the video? Ben's video? I close it again. The name of Ben's video is Bitcoin Lengthening Cycles. It has 98,000 views. It's from 4 years ago. The description says, it is time to find out if the theory we put out years ago will stand the test of time. Will Bitcoin continue higher in 2022, or will a bear market temporarily halt the crypto markets? My money is on Bitcoin lengthening cycles. So this man has been burned by an alternate theory. And he is butthurt, which I think skews his judgment. Okay. Gourmet Brands of Brooklyn said free $59 or $139. Tisha said, I'm no longer receiving emails from exchanges advertising sign-up bonuses. What happened? I don't know, actually. That's a good question. Crypto Spaces said, haha, what the F? Derek said, they realized you're broke, Tishu. Oh, dang. I actually had my boss sign up for Coinbase via mine, and we both got $30, which is low. Coinbase usually offers $100 when we hit the peak. That's my other argument. Especially with the dilution. Everyone's like, oh, there's too many coins now. All the liquidity was spread. If that was the case, we would see that reflected in the total charts. Total 1, 2, 3, or others dominance. Those charts would have skyrocketed if dilution was an issue and we had this much money in 2021. If we had this much money in this cycle, then we would have seen that reflected in these charts. Or technically, we should have had more money because of the ever-expanding global money supply. So, I don't know. It's a mess. Crypto Spaces said it's literally called lengthening cycles, but I guess things can change with time. That's true. You're allowed to change your mind. My issue is, back then, 1 cycle ago, he insisted that the 4-year cycle was bubkiss. It was bullcrap. And that everyone was wrong, and there was no, definitive proof, well outlined 4-year cycle definition. And then this year, suddenly he's like, oh, the 4-year cycle is really well defined. And it's always been that way. And every single cycle has been a 4-year cycle. So that kind of flip-flopping is what bugs me. When you try to present facts and then later on you change your facts, that's different. You're allowed to change your opinion. But when you're presenting facts and then down the road, you're like, oh, remember those facts that I presented down the road? Or 4 years ago? I was lying, actually. I just didn't do the research. So you should trust me now and what I present to you now, because it's different. Even though I mentioned back then recency bias, now is not recency bias. Now is actually real and true facts. Tisha said, I'll tell you, it was a top indicator, local top or cycle top. I don't know. I don't know either. I don't remember. Did I get any emails? I remember us talking about that, actually, Tishu. The referral bonus emails. remember getting one at least. October 24th, no. October 27th, I don't know. Here's one from Gemini. Gemini from April 30th, 2025. This is the one. This is the one I remember because I remember talking about Gemini. $75 Gemini referral program. 75 for you, 75 for your friends. That's right. The best referral offer is in crypto is back. Okay. Interesting. Very interesting. Referral tracking. Yeah, it was in April, which means if that was a cycle top, April 2026 will be the cycle bottom. Which coincides with my birthday always being shitty. In the charts, I mean, like, I enjoy my birthday. Outside of crypto. Crypto Spaces said, good point, JJ. Ben Cowan can be wrong because nobody's perfect. Oh, 100%. You're allowed to change it. That was one of my favorite things that Jordan always talked about. People would be like, you said this. And he's like, people are allowed to change their minds, man. Cycle changes. Like, crypto changes, the cycle changes. You're allowed to, like, take in data and be like, this is what I think. And then the data changes because time goes on and the charts move. And then you go, okay, now I'm taking in this new data. So here's my new opinion. That is the big difference, though. An opinion and a fact are two different things. Ben Cowan was presenting facts, and now those facts magically changed, which is impossible, which means he's full of shit. At least he was back then. So you're going to trust him now? I don't know. It's up to you. Crypto Spaces said Ben Cowan will be wrong, speaking it into existence. Ben versus CZ. CZ says super cycle. CZ can actually control the market. Dude, somebody posted, let me see if I can find it. People have posted on X quite a few times how frequently CZ will like tweet something and then 3-4 months later he'll repost it and he'll be like, told you. And it just becomes true. Let's see. CZ always right. Let me see if I can find it. CZ never lied. He always told people when things were risky. I'm just loading more. Nope. 4 years ago today, something never changed. If you can't hold, you won't be rich. Okay, that was February. CZ is the goat. Nope. CZ, better to sell when there's maximum greed than to buy when there's maximum fear. And buy when there's maximum fear. That was November 29th. Yeah, I don't know. There's a post somebody outlined and they put all of his, actually here's a good one. They put all of his tweets on the Bitcoin chart and they pretty much all played out like just a couple of months later. It's kind of hilarious. So we got this guy. CZ posted 12/17, so December 17th, 2020, waiting for the new headline, Bitcoin crashes from 101,000 to 85,000. And we all know what the price was in 2020. He said, save the tweet. And then he posted, like recently, waiting for the new headline, Bitcoin crashes from 1 million to 985,000. Save the tweet. I'm just saying, is next cycle Bitcoin going to hit $1 million? I don't know. Just saying. This was February 25th. The guy speaks things into existence. And it seems like either self-fulfilling prophecy or contrarian, because everyone's always going to be like, oh, well, he's doing that so that you sell your bags or whatever. Like, you should sell when he's bullish. And then people do, and then everything explodes to the upside and they look like idiots, which is hilarious. It's kind of like the Trump thing. Trump being like, the market's going to go up. And then the market goes up and everyone's like, that's insider trading. Even though he told everyone the market was going to go up, that's literally the opposite. That's outsider trading, bro. He told everyone was going to happen. You just decided not to listen. Derek said opinions are like assholes. Everyone sniffs them. Crypto Spaces said even Jordan pointed out that when he used to stream where CZ subliminally says something, the market does it. Yes. I remember at one time he said buy the dip and then sometime later Bitcoin pumped. Exactly. Tisha said if that's true, it's always a good time to buy Bitcoin. Exactly. 100%. I mean, if we really look at it, like get down to brass tacks, like impatience removed, let's go to the chart and let's go to the monthly. Are you guys going to buy this asset? Like, what are you going to, oh, worst case scenario, you got to wait a couple months? You got to wait. There's 608 days. That's 2 years. Big whoop. And that's an entire bull bear cycle. Let's just go from right here. Like the next time you got to that price. 853 days, a couple years, whatever. That's what I mean. Worst case scenario, you just got to wait a little bit longer. Right now, in my opinion, it makes more sense. I'm going to just get rid of the drawings for a second. It just makes more sense for this to be a big bull market, a little mini bull market, a big bull market, and then a big bull market, and then a big bear market, a little bull market, a little bull market, a little bull market. Every single time. The market's completely different every single time. None of these 3 most recent cycles look the same at all. You got 1 hump, 2 hump, 3 hump. They're all completely different already. So, and also, I don't know if you guys notice, I'm going to draw on this and all my drawings are going to pop back up. This is a very long time right here. This is not a very long time at all compared to that one. So is the next bear market really going to be 12 months or is it going to be 6? And if it's 6, then we're already halfway through. October, November, December, January, February, March, April might be the next bull market, man. Extended cycle diminishing returns might not necessarily be true, but if the cycle gets longer and the bear market gets shorter, I don't know what you want to call that, extending bull diminishing bear, I kind of like that theory. And it kind of checks out. You got a slow pump, a very, very long drawn out dump. Same thing right here, slow pump, drawn out dump. A fast pump, fast dump, fast pump, drawn out dump, slow pump, fast dump, fast pump, fast dump, medium, medium. You know, it's all changing all the time. There's really no rhyme or reason to any of it. So to sit here and say it's a 4-year cycle, we're going to have a 12-month long bear market and then a 3-year long bull market is just as crazy as me pulling fractals that go up to $1 million. It's all a mess, you know? But at the end of the day, we know for a fact that the chart goes up relatively indefinitely over a extended period of time. And that's a bet I'm more than willing to take. Okay. T-Stew said, last bear, the low was below previous all-time high. Keep that in mind. If that repeats, it means Bitcoin below 69K. Nice. Derek said I could see April. CryptoSpaces said I was saying bull run starts in summer. I've been saying 2026 since, I think, 2024. So, and I'm pretty confident about that. And I have streams, so you guys can go check that out. Probably like within my first 5 streams is when I started expressing that opinion. CryptoSpaces said, Ben also said in dubious speculation, if we ended the cycle on apathy, we can't expect the typical bear market, but he more confident bear market bottom in October. I think everyone is literally just going off of this anonymous post that happened to nail the October 6th top is calling for a bottom, which would be, I believe, October 5th, 2026. I don't know. I'm just saying, man. I don't know. What would be hilarious? Riddle me this now. What if? Now I gotta get the tinfoil hat on. I don't want to radiate my brain juice. What if this post was made by Satoshi Nakamoto? And devil's advocate, you should ask me then, why hasn't Satoshi's Bitcoin moved? Satoshi has multiple wallets. This one with all the Bitcoin that we know of is one that he lost his keys to. He's got a bunch of really small ones that are like still billions of dollars, and he just uses those and whatever. Like, he's got so much money that he doesn't have to reveal his identity. He just exists in secret, and he can afford to be in secret for indefinitely. And then he posts this stupid crap, and it's anonymous too, so it hides his identity even still. And then just for the dopamine hit, for the, that's right, I posted that thing on 4chan and I was correct, Galaxy Brain, he sells an insane amount of Bitcoin, and it just plummets the price. And then October 10th happens. He keeps selling. He's like, ha 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 ha, I'm even more right than I was yesterday. And then the market breaks on October 10th, and he's like, oops, uh-oh. And then he stops. He's like, okay, I've had my fun. We're in a bear market now. My stupid 4chan post was right. And then he's got his, like, if you have all the money in the world, I feel like it's not that unreasonable to think somebody who has all the money in the world might do that. I mean, it might be kind of fun. Tony Soprano, who's a fictional character, was a multimillionaire, and he still gambled his money away. What thrill are you going to get from winning money if you already have all the money in the world? You get feeling when you lose it. You get mad. You get worked up. And you do that on purpose, subconsciously, because you want to feel it. We need a tinfoil hat segment every stream. I mean, it's readily accessible, man. I think it's not going anywhere. Have you seen the price of aluminum lately? I'm not selling that thing. Oh man, that's good. That's good. I want to make a joke. I want to make a meme of the stupid. Somebody posted recently the aluminum chart, and they're like, aluminum surges. And then I'm gonna show that in the video, and then the next clip will be me in the grocery store, like just throwing all of the aluminum foil into a cart. I think it'd be awesome. Tishu said, did I miss anything else? LOL. Typical bear market October. Okay. Tishu said, buying Bitcoin is easy. Just ask yourself, are you okay with your money going down 50%? If the answer is yes, you're ready. I know it sounds bad, but good things come to those who wait, or so the saying goes. That is true. And my next bout is finish your point about having all the money in the world. You want to feel something. Well, yeah, that's basically it. You have all the money in the world, and you did all of the things that there are to do. Next, it's literally, there's that stupid video of that guy. He's like, I find that the best way to drain people's energy is online trolling or something like that. And he just like exists on like Reddit and Twitter, and he just trolls people all day and pisses people off, and and you can feel their anger. Like, and he's just sitting there, just like being a contrarian, like douchebag on the internet, and he loves it because he knows that the people on the other side are pissed. They're like infuriated, they're getting all worked up, and that's his thing. I don't know if it's from a show or if it's just a stupid skit, but it's such a good clip. It's like that. If you have all the money in the world, you've done all the things in the world, what else is there left to do? You can fuck with people. Or you can be charitable. You probably give money to people all the time, so you get home, you're a little bit bored, you're like, I'm gonna post a stupid thing on 4chan. Wait a minute, actually, I have enough Bitcoin to actually make this real. And then you see all the people on 4chan, they're like, hey, you stupid idiot. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. Yeah, right. Nice chart with lines. You know, they're just trolling the guy, and he's like, watch this. And then the day comes around, and he goes, boop, hits the sell button, liquidating, cascades, out of control. That would be hilarious. Crypto Spaces said there are some psychopaths out there. So Satoshi sold just to mess with the market. That's possible, man. Honestly, it does not seem that far-fetched to me. That Satoshi's alive. He has like a bunch of wallets just with money riddled throughout them. He's still anonymous, and then he's just trolling the internet. You know. Also, you gotta like remember if that is true. I gotta do the tinfoil hat again because we're getting into the Satoshi's alive territory. If that is true, then he probably did actually lose the keys to that big fat wallet. So mentally, what does that do to you? you know, you're like, oh my God, I wrote this down on a piece of paper and it's gone forever. And it's this much, it equals this much money now. Even if you have all the money in the world, imagine having like 10 times more than that. Or whatever Satoshi has. Imagine having twice as much. That sucks, knowing that you're responsible. Do people know Satoshi's? Yes. The big one, I think that there's several. People send money to it all the time, actually. It's like a rite of passage for like big money Bitcoin whales. Somebody, I think in the last like 3-4 years, sent like $1 billion worth of Bitcoin to it, or some ridiculous amount of money. And everyone was like, whoa, that's crazy. But yeah, it's out there. It exists, man. Okay. Time prediction timeline, Wall Street cheat sheet. So if, let's say Euphoria was October 6th, we got, let's say, November, December, I'm going to call it January, February, nope, November, December, January, February, March, April. I don't know. I'm just digging around at this point. All right, we're almost done. Venezuela's stock market. Did Venezuela's stock market just have the best week in the history of capitalism? Gotta be in the running. That is pretty sick. 69.58. Very cool. Oh. Okay, here's a little mildly concerning metric. Sales of heavy trucks are collapsing, which has usually foreshadowed an upcoming recession. Maybe they're talking about 2027? A little bit of copium. Chinese yuan hits strongest level against the US dollar since May 2023. Okay. Portugal now offers 0% capital gains tax on Bitcoin held for over 1 year. Global game theory at work. Beautiful. Guys, we move into Portugal or Greenland. Maybe we move to Greenland, get the 100K from Trump, and then go to Portugal, buy Bitcoin, hold it for a year. Yeah, that sounds good, right? Sounds like a good game plan. Derek said, yeah, the embarrassment alone would keep him hiding. Oh, 100%. For real. You know what would be even funnier is if, and this could go into that, the pitch that we're going to send to Netflix is Satoshi's alive, and like they do all of this crazy stuff that we just described and whatever, and then they get ousted and they go public. They're like, I'm Satoshi. And they're like, what happened to that wallet? And then they try to like keep up this facade that they actually know the passcode or whatever, and they don't. And then they gotta like, you know, I don't know, keep people guess they get like kidnapped and whatever, and then they have to tell the kidnapper that they don't actually know it. And they find out the kidnapper is like their best friend from high school or something that like actually gave them the idea for Bitcoin. Tisha said, does Bitcoin pump when Satoshi's wallet receives Bitcoin? I don't think so. I don't think people actually care. It does technically lock it up forever though, unless Satoshi's out there with the, you know, seed phrase somewhere in his pocket. Would that be crazy? Imagine you found it. Here's my question. If I had Satoshi's seed phrase and I like when he imported his wallet onto like MetaMask or whatever, would that show up on the blockchain? Because you're not signing any transactions. Imagine that. Imagine you have Satoshi's wallet. You find a thing, and you know, like you're walking on the sidewalk and you find it, and you're like, oh my God. Or you dig something up in the freaking woods, and you're like, oh my God, this is a Bitcoin seed phrase. And you load it up, and then you realize it like hits you, dude. You like knock the wind out of you. You're like, oh my God, this is Satoshi's wallet. What do you do? What do you do if that happens? Because you can't sell. You would literally collapse an entire, like, and then how are you going to off-ramp? People are going to find out who you are and come kill you. Are you serious? What do you do at that point? You have to destroy it, right? That's crazy to think. That's like scary to think about. Gourmet said $1 billion is like dry powder for him, right? Derek said, how long do you think until they get quantum computers to guess the 12 words? I don't know, man. I don't know. I like to think that the Bitcoin devs, like the miners, would eventually, or will eventually, figure out quantum resistance. And what I forget, it's called like Moore's Law or something like that. Whatever the growth curve is for technology is also terrifying because it seems like we're far away from doing that with quantum computers. but also far away as far as technological advancements is never that far away. All you got to do is take the right turn, and then it's parabolic. Derek said, yep, I got that. John 316X221 said, JJ Blessings, are we bullish? I am always bullish. I will always be bullish because Bitcoin goes up for forever. Sometimes it pulls back for like a year or two, but I got a year or two to spare if I need to. Jay Shear, number go up. Posts, very cool. Derek said, you tell everyone you are Satoshi. That's actually a good point. But then they're going to kill you and murder anyone who questions you, Hillary style. They're going to shut down the stream now. I said her name. Tisha said, just importing a seed to a wallet does not make a transaction. Yes, I know that. But would that still, like, would you still be able to see somebody access the wallet at all? Or is it only transactions that show up? Like, is there any metric or any way to see if somebody's accessing a wallet? Curious. Especially with the old Bitcoin wallets. You know, it'd be crazy if somebody compromised Satoshi's wallet. That's actually kind of terrifying. Because there was just issue that they had with like some legacy Bitcoin wallet. It didn't compromise the wallets, but it like your funds disappeared if you like tried to interact with it at all, which is terrifying. Tisha said at one point we were excited for 90k Bitcoin. Now we're like worried. Exactly. That's what I mean, man. It's all about perspective. It's all about perspective. I'm getting a little pumpy over here. Kind of excited. Do got number go up. Okay, we're done with our news segment. Let's see what Grok had to say. We asked Grok, who do you think is Satoshi Nakamoto, the creator of Bitcoin? Grok said, Satoshi Nakamoto is the pseudonym used by the person or possibly group who authored the Bitcoin white paper in 2008, released the original Bitcoin software in 2009, and contributed to its early development until disappearing from public view around 2010-2011. To this day, in January 2026, their true identity remains unknown, with no confirmed revelation despite years of speculation, investigations, documentaries, and even court cases. Many individuals have been proposed as candidates over the years, often based on circumstantial evidence like technical expertise, timing, writing style, or prior work in cryptography and digital currency. Here's a rundown of the most prominent ones, along with key reasons for suspicion and counterpoints. Craig Wright, an Australian computer scientist who publicly claimed in 2015 to 2016 to be Satoshi, providing what he said was proof. However, this has been thoroughly debunked. A 2024 UK High Court ruling found he is not Satoshi, did not author the white paper, forged documents, and lied extensively in court. He was later sentenced to a suspended prison term for related contempt. What a freaking idiot. Craig Wright, more like Craig Wrong. Peter Todd. I'm so sorry for that. Peter Todd, a Bitcoin core developer, pointed to in a 2024 HBO documentary, Money Electric, The Bitcoin Mystery. Based on forum messages, linguistic patterns, and other clues, Todd immediately and strongly denied it, calling the claims baseless, and went into hiding briefly due to safety concerns. That's actually crazy. That poor guy. They actually like painted a target on his back. Nick Szabo, a computer scientist and cryptographer who developed BitGold in the 1990s and 2000s, a direct conceptual precursor to Bitcoin, decentralized digital currency using proof of work. Stylometric analysis have linked his writing to the Bitcoin white paper, and he has deep roots in cypherpunk circles. Szabo has denied being Satoshi. Hal Finney, this one is my favorite. A pioneering cypherpunk and programmer who was the first person to receive a Bitcoin transaction from Satoshi, contributed early code improvements, and was deeply involved from day one. Writing analysis have shown similarities, and he lived near Dorian Nakamoto, another early suspect. Finney denied it before his death in 2014. Others, Dorian Nakamoto, a 2014 Newsweek article misidentified him based on his name and background. He denied it. Adam Back, inventor of Hashcash, cited in the white paper, denied. Len Sassaman, dang, a cypherpunk who died in 2011, some recent theories but no proof, and even wilder guesses like Elon Musk or government agencies, all denied or substantiated. There have been ongoing efforts, like 2025 lawsuits seeking U.S. government records via DHS FOIA requests claiming officials may know more, but nothing conclusive has emerged. As for who I think it is, I don't know. No one does for certain, and that's part of what makes Bitcoin enduringly fascinating and resilient. Its decentralized nature means it doesn't rely on any one person's identity. And if I had to pick the most plausible based on available evidence, I'd lean towards Nick Szabo, really. His prior invention of BitGold closely mirrors Bitcoin's architecture. He coined the term smart contracts, and independent linguistic forensic studies have repeatedly flagged strong similarities in phrasing and style with the white paper. Hal Finney is a close second for his hands-on early role. That said, it's entirely possible Satoshi was a small group, used the pseudonym deliberately to stay anonymous for safety privacy reasons, or is someone entirely off the radar. Revealing it now could even be risky given the enormous wealth tied to Satoshi's presumed holdings, over 1 million Bitcoin. In the end, Bitcoin's success proves the idea stands on its own merits, not the creator's name. That is pretty sick. Imagine if the name was stupid. Like, do you think Bitcoin would have succeeded if his name was like Bob Smith? Like, what if his name was like Jim Turnbow? Or something like really white. What if his name was like Robert Bubkiss? Robert Bubkiss might actually be more successful than Satoshi Nakamoto. Bitcoin currently trading at $90,677.03. Congratulations, Gourmet Brands of Brooklyn, once again on your victory. Enjoy your Choco Taco portfolio update. Let me check the chat really quick. Obviously, it's some Asian. Derek. Crypto Spaces said, creator of Bitcoin, definitely Asian. Or whatever race Elon is. Elon is South African. He's a white guy from South Africa. Tishu said, if Satoshi is alive and had bad intentions, could he do a massive wealth transfer in the future? That was always, dude, that's always been my thought, honestly, because like the whole guerrilla warfare situation with Satoshi is to fuck the government. If he had all of this like bad intentions and the long dude, it's something in my brain. I don't know. I don't even know if I would be mad. Imagine he goes through all of this. The U.S. government adopts Bitcoin. The planet adopts. Everyone's like suddenly all in, and then Satoshi just goes, "Hello there," and then boop, and all of the Bitcoin just disappears. Gone. That would be fucking epic. I'm sorry. And I don't think I would be mad. Obviously, depending on what happened, I would try to make sure that, like, my family's safe, you know? But that would be insane. That would make a great movie. Tishu said... Okay, yep, we read that. Derek said, what if it was Mel from Mel's Hole? I don't actually know what any of that is. For some reason, I'm familiar with the name, though. Mel's Hole. Famous urban legend about a mysterious, seemingly bottomless pit at the Manastash Hills near Ellisburg, Washington. Brought to light by Mel Waters on Art Bell's Coast to Coast AM radio show in 1997, claiming supernatural properties like bringing dead animals back to life and emitting strange lights. Ooh, that sounds disgusting. What? So wait a minute. Somebody called, and then they were like, we're going to name this Mel's Hole. Is that a guy? Because that would be hilarious. He's like, no, I don't like that name. My hole is not a bottomless pit. I should have never called this in. Okay. Crypto Spaces said it would be crazy chaos. It would drastically change the world. It would be pretty epic, though, you gotta admit. Like, that would be the epitome of cybercrime. Just like revenge for the 2008 financial crisis. Damn. Those who didn't buy Bitcoin at that crash F forever. Okay. We are doing portfolio update. Our 1K to 10K Grok portfolio currently down $480 or 48%. Our best performer is Solana, only down 19%. Our worst performer is Aptos, down 61%. 71% is what I said. Then we've got our meme coin. Whoopsie. Dang it. I knew that was going to happen. I forgot something. There's always one thing, man. Oh my gosh, I can't get in. Dang, what if I lost access to the portfolios? That'd be so sad. I'd have to actually figure out what they were. Okay. Then we've got the meme coin portfolio, currently down 55.9%. Best performer is Pepe, only down $75, or what is that? I don't know what percent. You guys can figure out the percentage. Worst performer is GigaChad, down $164. Then the narrative portfolio, my favorite, and I believe the best performer so far, currently only down $174, or 34.8%. Best performer is Tau, which is only down 3%. Worst performer is VeChain, which is down 58%. And last but not least, the perfect entry portfolio, which is currently down 402, or 40.2%. Actually recovering very nicely. Best performer here is Chainlink, down 13%, and worst performer is Avalanche, down 61%. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Bitcoin, very, very underwhelming today. We had a pretty sick stream, though. I appreciate you guys for being here. Thank you for being active in the chat. We got 5 votes in our poll. Let's see. I asked you guys, where are we right now in regards to the Wall Street cheat sheet? We got 5 votes. 20% of you guys said hope/optimism right here. 40% of you guys said complacency/anxiety right here at the beginning of the dump. 0 of you guys said panic, capitulation, and anger at the very bottom of the dump right there. And 40% of you, tied with complacency and anxiety, said depression and disbelief. So 40% think we're at the beginning of the dump. 40% think we're at the beginning of the recovery. Oh, it just changed a minute, actually. We got an extra vote. 50% said complacency and anxiety. 33% said depression, disbelief. And then hope, optimism is only at 17%. We're going to end the poll. Make sure you guys smash the like button. Helps the stream out a lot. We're trying to get the 2,000 subscribers before April, because April is my birthday. And I think I deserve it. Sign up for my group. I'm just kidding. There is no group. But join the Discord. It's completely free. It's a ton of fun. And we never try to sell you anything. Except for, what do we try to sell you? We try to sell you on the idea that the 4-year cycle is dead. And sometimes people like Ben Cowan are wrong. And other stupid, pointless things that make us happy because we have all the money in the world. I'm just kidding. All right. Complacency, anxiety, 1. You guys think we're at the beginning of the dump, followed by depression, disbelief. I'm in this camp right here. I don't always have to be the winner, but I would like to be right most of the time. And I will brag about it if I am. But I will also admit when I'm wrong. Anyways, guys, as much as I hate to leave because I am thoroughly enjoying the time, I don't know if there's anything else to really talk about. So I am going to call it an evening. Hopefully we can do an emergency live stream here soon with a big fat pump God candle through the upside. That would be pretty sick. But as always, when Bitcoin starts to do anything crazy, I will hop back on. Otherwise, I will see you all tomorrow. I appreciate you guys for sticking around. Don't forget to smash the like button on your way out. Happy Saturday and good night.